This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline dreams, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families, the drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Build not borrowed, that's the creed written deep in our veins. We turn busted cars into legends and rust into fame. From late night garage grind to race day stadium roars, every scar on our knuckles unlocked 1,000 doors. We don't back down, we don't break, we don't fold. Every ride we build tells a story worth gold. This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline trains, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families, the drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motor fire. Here's to the nights when the world said slow down, but the engine said no when we stood our ground. To the ones who grew up rich and when the rest took the easy way, we found our path in the piston noise and we'll ride it every day. Pedal to the metal, this is where we belong. Cars, trucks, monster trucks, loud and strong. Passion, pride, lug nuts, side by side. If you love what you drive, then ride, ride, ride. This is for the legends that started in dusty garages, for the kids who chase dreams through the scars and collages, for the racers who gave everything without fail, and the fans who stand proud when the engines wail. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, this ain't a phase. It's our passion, our culture, and we'll live it to the grave. Pedal to the metal, forever in our veins. So look out, we're only getting louder from here. Nothing built strong was ever built out of fear. The road is wide open and the fire won't slow, because this isn't a hobby, this is the only life we know. Pedal down, heads high. We're not done. Pedal down, heads high. Pedal down. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. You're listening to Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music, the show where horsepower, stories, and great music come together. From beautiful collector classics to fire-breathing race cars to the ground-shaking thunder of monster trucks, this is where the world of motors meets the power of music. So strap in tight, fire up, and grab your favorite cold drink, because a ride is about to begin. And now, here's your host, Roller.
very much. Thank you. No, thank you guys. Really. Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you guys. I got the Beer Garden Rowdies down there. How's it going, guys? Good to see you down there, man. Way to go. Everybody up in the mezzanine looks like they're having a large time. How you guys doing tonight, man? All right, let's just come on, let's cut it off here. Let's just save the applause for later on. Roger and Kathy will be on here a little bit later on in the show. Yeah. Let's just bring it down a little bit now, and we'll get ready to start the first half of the show right here. Welcome, guys. Welcome, and ladies and gentlemen, to Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. I'm your host, Mr. Rolla. Mr. Rolla in the house. Yeah. Anyway, we got a good show tonight, guys. We got Roger and Kathy Gauger on the show tonight, and you know they've been in the monster truck business for 35 years. On their honeymoon, on the way back, they bought their first monster truck, and they have been monster trucking since that day. So I really look forward to talking to them because, number one, spent a lot of time doing shows with these folks, and I'm talking about some class A1 class people. They are the best to do monster truck shows with. They're very polite. They do what you ask, and you know it's going to be great to catch up with them anyway. You know, if nothing else, they've been really busy, and Roger's got him a full-time seat now with Bigfoot, and he's doing very well. But I think it's going to be a good show, so we're going to look forward to talking to them about 7:15 tonight. Now remember, on the 31st we won't have a show, guys. This Sunday there will not be a show because the fact is we're going to be down in Pueblo all day at the Steel City Car Show, and it's going to be happening, man. Man, time goes by so fast. I don't know where it goes, you know. I really don't. I don't know where it goes, man. But I just like to tell everybody to make sure that you guys, if you're listening from Pueblo or if you're coming down to the show and you're pre-registered, registration starts at 7:45, and then the show kicks off at 9 o'clock and it runs till 1. We'll do trophies about 12:30, and we'll make sure that we get everybody cleared out there by the time 1 o'clock hits around and stuff. But it's going to be a donation to Ellie's Church from Seppi Breads, Seppi Chala Breads. And so it's going to be a donation to her for her church. And then I'm going to encourage you guys to go in, and she's going to have the bakery open and go in and buy some baked goods from her. She makes some fantastic breads, man. They got a chocolate chip bread that is just amazing. She's got a cinnamon raisin bread that's really good in the mornings, you know. And then she just makes a regular bread that is great for sandwiches and stuff. And, she can ship that bread to you anywhere you want. And you can, they're located at 131 Broadway Avenue in Pueblo, Colorado. Phone number over there is 719-664-2042. Her website is www.seppiskosher.com. And if you're looking for her to, come and hang out with you, or, for her to send you some bread and stuff like that, just get a hold of her, man. She's really a great lady, and she'll hook you up on some good bread, and you guys can sample the goods right there. So I imagine she'll have a few samples maybe out on Sunday at the show. So if you can go in there, we talked about maybe having some coffee and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens and kind of figure it out from there. But once again, 131 Broadway Avenue, Pueblo, Colorado, 719-664-2042, and it's www.seppiskosher.com. Guys, we'll be right back here to Pedal to the Metal after a word from our sponsors.
Castle Rock! Get ready to fire up the horsepower! The 2026 Poor Boy Cruisers Car Show is rolling into ACC in Castle Rock on Saturday, October 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring out your ride and be part of an incredible day supporting the American Cancer Society, with 100% of the donations going to the cause. Entry fee donation is just $20 cash only, and registration is same day only. The show takes place at ACC Castle Rock, 4500 Limelight Avenue, Castle Rock, Colorado, 80109. Enjoy giveaways, a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, specialty trophies, and an awesome lineup of classic cars, customs, trucks, and hot rods. All makes and models are welcome. Don't miss the 2026 Poor Boy Cruisers Car Show in Castle Rock, Saturday, October 3rd, where chrome shines bright and horsepower helps make a difference.
Folks, auction season is here. And when it comes time to sell your equipment, livestock, estate items, or complete farm dispersal, you need an auction company you can trust. That's where the Holsworth Auction Company comes in. Serving Colorado and surrounding communities with honest service, hard work, and hometown values. Whether you're planning a farm auction, ranch dispersal, estate sale, livestock sale, or equipment reduction, the Holsworth Auction Company has the experience to help get the job done right. And now, with online internet bidding available, buyers can participate from just about anywhere, helping bring more attention to your sale and stronger bidding opportunities. Community-minded, professional, dependable. That's the Holsworth difference. Give Ken Holsworth a call today at 970-380-5305 or call John Clatworthy at 970-768-7500 or visit them online at theholsworthauctioncompany.com. The Holsworth Auction Company, LLC, where integrity still matters.
Get ready for the first ever Steel City Car Show this Sunday! Join us at Seppi's Chalabreads at 131 Broadway Avenue in Pueblo, Colorado. Check-in opens Sunday morning at 7:45, and the show runs from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. Come see cool classics, hot rods, custom trucks, and more. Trophies will be awarded, food will be available from the Broadway Inn Tavern and Grill, and music will be provided by Pueblo's legendary DJ Buzz Corona. For more information, call Roller at 303-919-6678. Don't miss the first ever Steel City Car Show this Sunday in Pueblo!
And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, guys, we're back. Now, don't forget, Roger and Kathy will be on at 7:15. That's Mountain Standard Time, and we'll be talking to them tonight and about their 35 years in the business. And Robert Haas, yes, I am. I have a text into my wife to have her bring that down here. If she doesn't bring it down here in a minute, during the music portion of the show, I'll run upstairs and get it. But yes, I did get the flag. It's very cool, and I am going to fly it at the car show this weekend down in Pueblo. So it's going to be a good time right there. But guys, we'd like to take our time and thank everybody for tuning in tonight, of course. But we'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Texas Rich at C10AmericaMagazine.com. He has a metal print business that he makes these metal prints for your show cars and different things like that. They come in the size by 11 by 14, 16 by 20, and 20 by 30. The 20 by 30 is only in the metal show board size. That's the only size you can get a show board in that one. But, these things are made of metal. They're very durable. They'll take your car show to the next level, man. It is really an amazing product, I'll tell you. All you got to do is send him about 15 photos, and he'll put them 15 photos together, maybe a couple of paragraphs about you and about the car, and he can go ahead and make you something that'll take that car show display to the next level. So if you're looking for something to help your car show get that little spice, that little bit of aha, make sure you contact him at Texas Rich at c10americamagazine.com. That's Texas Rich at c10americamagazine.com, and he can tell you the pricing and all that other stuff. So we do look forward to having you guys get those metal prints and stuff like that. Like I said, tonight is Roger and Kathy Gallagher tonight, and then on the 31st, there is no show. We've been busy. We've been busy booking June already. June starts out on Wednesday, the 3rd, with Eric Tack. That's E.T. from Bigfoot. He's a retired Bigfoot driver, and he'll be on the show. We'll be talking to him, but we're going to talk to him early. We're going to talk to him at the 6 o'clock hour. So he won't, because of the time the time difference and stuff like that. So we'll be talking to him. And then on the 7th, we're going to be talking to Amy Arn. She's going to be on the show, and her show will start at 6 o'clock also because of the East Coast time difference. And then on the 10th, we're going to be talking to Teach Angosh right here from Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. He's going to be on. He's going to be talking about his podcast. Him and Bradley Shaw, they have a podcast together. They do, and they talk about monster trucks, and they host drivers and stuff like that on, kind of like something like my show. And but theirs is they do video calling, and which is pretty cool. And someday I'll probably try to get that done, but that requires me to go over to like Steamship or something like that, and another platform. And you got so many followers here, you hate to jump ship on it, but we're going to probably have to end up doing that sooner or later. On the 14th is Bradley Shaw. He'll be on, the Monster Truck Canucker. He'll be on, and we'll be talking to him about his time spent with Cheech. And, of course, Cheech drives for the Hall brothers. I talked to him today, and he was getting ready to go to Indy down there for the big NASCAR race. And no, not Indy, Nashville, Tennessee. He was going to be going to Nashville for the big NASCAR race down there with the monster truck, the Hall Brothers racing team. So we're going to talk to him, and then Bradley spends a lot of time with him, and they got this great podcast, man. So look forward to talking to both of them. And then we're looking for some interviews on the 17th, the 21st, and the 24th. On the 28th, we have a local lady that restored a truck that used to be her dad's truck, and this lady done all of it herself. And Janie is just an amazing lady. We've interviewed her on Rolling with Roller and Derek, and she done every bit of work on Floyd. And Floyd is an old Ford pickup, and it's really, really in good shape, and she's done an amazing job. So we look forward to talking to her about Floyd and everything else. So I haven't seen the wife bring the flag down, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a back-to-back here, a couple songs, and I'm going to run upstairs, and I'm going to get this flag. I received my flag in the mail from Robert Haas the other day, yesterday, in fact, I think it was. And he had all the drivers sign it when they were out at his place for the big monster truck bash and the pull and all that stuff. So it really is cool, and I'm going to be flying the monster the pedal to the metal flag at the Cadillac. I mean, God, I'm getting tongue-tied here. I'm trying to read and do all this at once. We're going to fly the flag at the car show this weekend, and that'll be the first time that it gets seen here in Colorado. So we're going to go get that. I'm going to go get that here in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and start off the night right here with a song called Shotgun in My C10. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal. This is a twofer song right here, Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. We'll be right back.
Sun comes up on sunny July morn. Coffee in a cup, got a low dive warm. Bills on the dash, miles to go, but I ain't alone. Yeah, I already know. Bench seat crack, that old dash hums, engine knocks, but she still runs. Windows down, let the cool wind in. Feels like somebody riding again. Ain't saying much, but I feel in there. In every mile and every prayer, he rides shotgun in my C10, through the thick and thin, again and again. Ain't no halo, ain't no sign, just a steady hand when I'm crossing lines. When the road gets rough and the nights get long, he's right there riding along. I don't have to ask, I just know. He rides shotgun in my C10. Been down roads I shouldn't have drove, took some turns that nearly broke, but every time I lost my way, I felt that wheel start drifting straight. Gravel flies and the past fades out, dust in the mirror, gone no doubt. Every scar's just part of the ride, but I got peace sitting by my side. Don't need words, don't need to see, just that quiet strength riding with me. He rides shotgun in my C10, through the thick and thin, again and again. Ain't no halo, ain't no sign, just a steady hand when I'm crossing lines. When the road gets rough and the nights get long, he's right there riding along. I don't have to ask, I just know. He rides shotgun in my C10. Oh, maybe it's fate, maybe it's grace, maybe it's just that feeling I can't replace. Every back road bend, every highway line, I thank the Lord for that peace of mind. He rides shotgun in my C10, never lets me fall too far again. Through the storms and the miles I roam, guiding me steady, leading me home. When I pull that key and the day is done, I still feel him riding shotgun. Yeah, I don't have to ask, I just know. He rides shotgun in my C10. Engine cools and the night rolls in, still got a friend riding with me. Up before sunrise, coffee in hand, another small town, another stretch of land, hauling young colts, chasing that trainer's dream, living his life in the fast smile sing. Long nights driving, chasing daylight, track to track, under those bright lights, track lights. The horses are young, but he feels that spark. Thinks he's got a winner, he can feel it in his heart. He can feel it in his heart. Dust on his boots, sweat on his brow. He don't count the miles, that cowboy just sits there and smiles. Every race is a gamble, every gate's a fight. He's just sitting there waiting for post time tonight. But he's raising champions with all of his might, just hoping he takes that big purse home tonight. Some legs get weary, some backs get sore. The vet gives them care, and they're ready for more. He treats them like family, he believes in their run. Knows one of these colts is a champion one. Long nights driving, chasing daylight, track to track, under those bright lights. The horses are young, but he feels that spark. Thinks he's got a winner, he can feel it in his heart. He can feel it in his heart. The roar of the crowd, the thunder of hooves, the victory's close, he's got nothing to lose. Dreams on the line with each pound and stride. Tonight he's a winner with the world on his side. No more long nights, he's found the daylight. From track to track, now the future's bright. The young horse was golden, it was there from the start. He knew he had a winner, he could feel it in his heart.
Okay, we're back. We're back. Hey, Chad, what's up, man? How you been? Anyway, my buddy Robert, he had a big shindig down at his place here a while back, and he had Kevin King and B.J. Johnson and Lindsey Johnson and everybody come down. And Kevin has some, I mean, not Kevin, but Robert has some beautiful mud trucks, man. Big monster trucks and stuff like that. And they do a lot of these pulls down there. And man, it was they showed me some footage, and it was really cool. So he had BJ and Kevin King and all them come down and drive the truck. Well, he had a flag made for me at Pedal to the Metal, and man, it's big. I don't know if I can get it all shown here right fast, but this is the flag right here. And he had it flying on the back of one of the trucks. And then after everybody was done, he had the drivers sign it for me. And, I got it upside down. He had all the drivers sign it for me that was in their trucks and stuff like that. And then I finally received it in the mail here yesterday, in fact. I think it was yesterday or the day before, or one of the two. But anyway, I'm going to be flying this at the car shows and stuff this summer. And Robert, I really appreciate it, man. It means so much to have this flag, man, and have you do something like that for me. I really do appreciate it very much. And I look forward someday, my friend, to meeting you and your lovely wife. Whether it be down in Florida or whether you guys come up here or whatever it is, man. I do look forward to Looking forward there. I see. Hey, Ruler, I used to crew for Roger and Kathy years ago. Okay, Chad. Yeah, I think I remember you working with them and stuff. And they'll be on at 7:15 tonight. So it's only 6:15 here now. So we got about an hour's worth of me talking and playing some songs and different things like that. And then, hello, Wayne. How are you tonight? But what's up, man? What's up, BJ Johnson? I want to thank all the Oregon wood stackers for locking in tonight. Hell, God bless them Oregon wood stackers, my friend. God bless them all. I'm telling you, without that, there would not be an America without the Oregon wood stackers. I promise you. Oh, BJ, man, we had so much fun together. My goodness, what a fun time. But anyway, guys, we're just we're just killing time, really, basically, more than anything. I do have some pretty exciting news. I got a DJ down in a radio station down in Pueblo that has been helping me out. His name's Buzz Corona, and Buzz has been helping me with putting the car show on the station down there and playing all the good evening, Wayne. How are you? Playing all the spots and different things like that. Then he's going to be the DJ at the car show. But I was talking to him the other night, and I told him, I said, man, I would I would love to be a DJ, man. I said that would be like a bucket list deal for me. And the only thing he said was, we'll have to see what I can do for that. But he has his own radio station down there, and they're both FM stations, and it's called The Buzz. And maybe, I don't know, maybe by the powers to be, I might get my dream to come true and kind of syndicate the show on the air, and maybe do some kind of a music show or something like that. That would be cool. But anyway, we're going to get back to some songs right here. First of all, I need to pay a couple more bills. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we'll be right back here after this word from our sponsors.
Attention hot rodders, custom builders, truck fans, and motorcycle riders! Get ready for the White Buffalo Car Show coming to downtown Snyder, Texas on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Cruise into the heart of Snyder and enjoy a full day packed with classic cars, custom trucks, motorcycles, live music, great food, vendors, shopping around the square, and fun for the whole family. With 25 classes, awards, and even a furthest traveled award, there's something for every kind of ride. Registration is just $20, and all proceeds stay local to support area charities and community programs. And don't miss your chance to meet Texas rich with C10 America during this huge downtown celebration. Plus, cruise into the Friday night meet and greet on October 2nd before the band starts rocking. So polish up that chrome, shine those wheels, and head to the White Buffalo Car Show in downtown Snyder, Texas! The White Buffalo Car Show, where horsepower, hometown pride, and Texas tradition come together. Hey, cool cats and chrome lovers! Get ready for horsepower, hot rods, and summer fun at the Night Owl Hot Rods Fiesta Fun Run! Cruise on out Saturday, July 11th, 2026, from 3 in the afternoon until 8 at night at Sheridan Community Park, 3325 West Oxford Avenue in Sheridan, Colorado. Check out classic rides, custom builds, amazing food trucks, and that sweet sound of engines rolling through a summer evening. Music all night long from Southern Colorado's legendary DJ Buzz Corona. And don't miss the live auction, featuring automotive memorabilia, collectibles, and surprises every car lover's gonna want. Bring your friends, bring the family, and enjoy one incredible night of cars, music, food, and fun. Stay in the loop. Follow Night Owl Hot Rods on Facebook. The Night Owl Hot Rods Fiesta Fun Run, where the classics roll and the good times never stall. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. motors, and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, we're back. We're back. Cousin Debbie, I was getting a little bit worried about you. You weren't on last week, or the last show, and then I seen you didn't come in tonight early, and I thought, oh, something's going on. So I was trying to figure out how to get a hold of you because I was getting worried about you. So I'm glad to see you on here. Chad, I believe we met at a show one time, if I'm not mistaken, and it might have been one where Roger was at, but you know, buddy, I tell you what, I did the business for over 25 years, and in 25 years, I met so many people that the places where I met them are just a blur. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't specifically tell you what show or where it was at. Sean Green, how are you, my friend? But anyway, I can't remember. But I do remember your name. And that's what I can tell you. But I think it was at a show with maybe where you were working with Roger and them. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yeah, Sean, I do remember you. You know, you used to come in here every week, and you're MIA for a long time. You must be traveling, going to ball games, and doing all that good stuff, man, with your friends and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so Chad, I apologize that I can't remember exactly where it was at. But welcome to the show anyway. I'm glad you're in here, and I'm glad you're listening. And I did not see the story that you put in there about you catching the tire for Roger at a car show. You know, dude, those tires are big and powerful, and for you to chase one down, that's amazing, man, and get it caught. You know, that's a feat in itself for sure. A feat in itself for sure. All right, guys, we're going to be there's going to be another song coming up here right now, and we're just kind of bopping around the old playlist right here, and we're going to be doing one. In fact, what I wanted to give you guys heads up, Carter and I are going to be doing a song for her family here pretty soon, and she's finally getting all these details to me and stuff, and we're going to sit down and we're going to collaborate on one and do a song for her. So I can't wait for that. It's going to be a good time, Carter. It really is, baby girl. I can't. I said, Sean Green, I would love to go to the Hall of Fame. I would love to be there. I really would. And, you know, have plans, kind of sort of plans with Don King this year to try to make it up there. But I don't know. We're just going to have to see how things are. The job situations up here are a little sketchy right now. And I don't want to tie on a big trip in case I lose something. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens and go from there. But anyway, for those of you that didn't hear, I had Habo Gutierrez on the other night. He's an announcer and in the business. He does a lot of stuff, Bigfoot open houses and stuff. And he was working for the Toughest Monster Truck Tour. And as you know, everybody that's on the show, we play a song for them. And when I called Hobble the first time to ask him to be on the show, I said, I need some information from you, man. And he says, well, I'm going to put you to a test. I want you to do a hip-hop song for me. And I said, okay. I said, I'm down for the challenge, man. I am more than down for the challenge. And so I called him back, and we got the information. Yeah, he is. He is, Sean, for sure. Anyway, I called him back for some information. I said, now you want this hip hop? He goes, oh, no, man, just go ahead and do it in a rock and roll or something like that. You know, I thought, well, okay, whatever. So I asked him during the interview, I said, dude, why didn't you want me to do a hip hop for you? And Monster Truck Hall of Fame, Steve Sean Green will buy you lunch. Oh, right on. Sean, I eat big lunches, man, because I'm a big guy, you know, and that's all there is to it. Mike said you're going to buy, so thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. But anyway, I said, I'm going to take the challenge, Steel Hubble, and I'm going to make you a hip-hop song about your life in the monster truck world and how you got started. So this here is called Pontoon Beach Dreams in the hip-hop version. We'll be right back here on Pedal to Metal, Motors and Music.
Yeah. Pontoon Beach, Illinois. This one's for every kid sitting in the front row dreaming. Let's ride.
Yeah. Pontoon Beach. Pontoon Beach, Illinois, 1992. Country kid, loud dreams, dirt on my shoes. Mama hauled horses, town to town moves. Brothers took me where the monster trucks blew through. Big ties, thunder, fairground shake. That engine noise make the whole ground quake. 9 years old with a BMX frame, trying to chase something bigger than a small town name. By 15, everybody knew the kid. Skate park nights, always out doing tricks. Sponsor logos all over my bike. Living for the ramps underneath those lights. Didn't know where life was gonna go, just knew I felt alive every time I rode. Young kid running with a head full of dreams, somewhere between dirt bikes and gasoline. Yeah, I came up around monster machines, skate park rails and impossible dreams. From St. Louis nights to nationwide crowds, now I call those shows through a microphone loud. Front row kid now, living that life. Big stage lights every Friday night. Never thought these dreams would come around, now the engine shake when I touch this town. Teenage years, busted chains of scars, parking lot sessions underneath the stars. 16 years old, crossing state lines, chasing BMX dreams, trying to build mine. Weekends spent in those stadium seats, watching monster trucks bring the crowd to their feet. 98 through 2017, every single memory still plays in me. Didn't saved it at the finals run. Tim Jones ripped axles one by one. Jerry broke tabs and the crowd lost control. That chaos and noise got deep in my soul. Never knew one day I'd hold that mic, standing in arenas underneath those lights. Funny how life turns circles around. Now I'm the voice hearing those engines pound. Yeah, I came up around monster machines, skate park rails and impossible dreams. From St. Louis nights to nationwide crowds, now I call those shows through a microphone loud. Front row kid now, living that life. Big stage lights every Friday night. Never thought these dreams would come around, now the engines shake when I touch this town. Skate park scene almost faded away. No more big jams for the kids to play, so I picked that torch up, kept it alive. 11 straight years, putting in that time. In Casper, Wyoming, changed my route. Camera crew work, just helping out. Scott Heaton's flight got canceled that night. Promoters backstage, panicked on site. Danny Mass looking set, kick can speak. Heartbeat pounding, knees felt weak. Scott made it there, but the seed got planted. Next season came in, my whole life changed. Kelly and Dave Goldman showed me game. Brian Manson taught me crowd control lanes. Fred Schaefer, Scott Heaton too. Every one of them helped me break through. Now I'm announcing across the land, Bigfoot open house with the fans in the stands. Top 6 seasons, still holding it down. Monster truck war, still moving crowds. Interview legends I watched as a kid. Bob Chandler stories and the things he did. Army Armstrong, Corey Snyder too. Still feels unreal what this life turned into. Yeah, I came up around monster machines, from Pontoon Beach to nationwide lights, living every one of those childhood nights. Front row kid now holding the mic. Friday night thunder underneath the lights. This life ain't money, fame or gold. It's memories, stories, and dreams that roll. And every time those engines shake the ground, I still feel like that kid standing in the crowd. Pontoon Beach forever. Pontoon Beach forever.
There you go, Hobo's song there in hip hop. All right, this next song here is a new one that I just made. This is called C10 Blue. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Bought that truck in 1972. Brand new keys and a small town dream.
3 on the tree, and a big block heartbeat, bright Chevrolet blue with a bench seat clean. Drove her home past the county water tower. Dad just smiled and shook my hand. Said, son, take care of that pickup, and it'll outlive every plan. The truck hauled lumber from my first house, pulled my babies through Christmas snow, took my wife on Friday night drives, back when Main Street still moved slow. There's fingerprints on that old steering wheel, from hands that ain't here anymore. Every dent and every scratch was a memory I couldn't store. That C10 meant so much to me, more than steel and old machine. It carried my whole life around, every mile, every dream. Then one night somebody stole her away, left my heart out in the rain. And when they stripped that old truck down, it felt like they stripped my memories the same. Lord, I still can't understand why somebody'd take a man's past away, 'cause that C10 meant so much to me. Sheriff found her by the river, just a shell on 4 flat tires, motor gone and the dash ripped open, wires hanging down like broken lines. Stood there silent in the moonlight, couldn't even catch my breath, 'cause it looked like somebody vandalized every piece of life I had left. People say it's just an old truck, but they don't know what she carried through the years. First kisses, hard times, long talks with my father, and nights I sat alone in tears. You can replace old chrome and metal, but you can't rebuild yesterday. And some things get stolen forever when they haul your memories away. That C10 meant so much to me. It was family and faded paint, a rolling piece of who I was. And now there's a silence where she ain't. Still see her parked there in my driveway. Every time I close my eyes, yeah, they stole more than an old Chevrolet. The night they took my whole life's ride. anybody take a man's soul away? 'Cause that C10 meant so much to me. Now there's rust marks where she used to sit, and quiet where her engine used to sing. Funny how an old truck can become every memory a man's ever lived. A man's ever lived.
C10 Blue right there, ladies and gentlemen. C10 Blue. All right, this next song, and by the way, Carter, if you remember, I'm down in Pueblo at the car show down there, so I'm going to be out of pocket all day. I won't be around and stuff, so we'll get together and make that song soon for sure. I promise that right now. This next song here is about two young boys that met in kindergarten, grew up their whole lives together. They went to the same school, played on the same team, went to war together. They did everything. And one night, one of them was working in the shop and got a phone call, and he looked down at his phone and he said, "Oh, you know what? I'll go ahead and get that call and call him back when I get home." And his friend was calling him from the hospital, and his friend was dying. So this is called The Final Phone Call. And remember this, the reason why I made this song is, are we really too busy when we have somebody that's very special in our life to pick up that phone call if they're calling? Because you never know when it's going to be the final phone call.
Why didn't I take your call? First day of kindergarten, you sat beside me on the floor. Two little boys with scraped up knees, laughing like we'd met before. Built tree forts out behind your daddy's barn, raced bicycles through the rain. Every summer felt forever, back before life brought pain. We wore the same school colors, played ball beneath those Friday lights, double dated at the prom, talked about our future lives. Sat together at graduation, thought we had the whole world beat. Two hometown boys side by side, ready for whatever we need. Why didn't I take your call? What was so important after all? You stood beside me my whole life, through every rise and every fall. Now I'd give anything I own just to hear your voice one more time tonight. God, why didn't I take your call? We got shipped off together overseas, same platoon and desert sand, back to back through hell and smoke, trusting each other with our lives in our hands. You were the best man at my wedding, I stood beside you at yours too. Lived just a few streets from each other, like brothers always do. was working in the garage. Figured I'd call you back when I got home. But you were laying in that hospital bed, knowing your time was running thin, trying to say goodbye to your best friend one last time before the end. Now your voicemail's all I have left, and silence cuts me like a knife. 'Cause the one call I let go unanswered was the most important call of my life. Why didn't I take your call? I'd trade every breath to change it all. You carried me through this whole life, and I wasn't there when you needed me most of all. Now every time my phone lights up, it tears my heart apart inside. 'Cause somewhere in my soul, I still hear your voice that night. And God, I'll never forgive myself for not picking up that call. Two little boys in kindergarten turned into old men side by side. And now there's one empty chair at Sunday supper. Since the night my best friend died.
There you go, pedal to the metal right here. Final phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right here in a minute. Pretty soon, we're getting really close to talking to Roger and Kathy Gallagher. I'm sorry. And we'll be talking to them about 35 years in the monster truck business, man. That is awesome. 35 years behind the wheel, just tearing up steel, man. What a great life. We'll be back right back here in a moment.
Hey, Colorado, get ready! The second annual Tri-Lakes Cruisers Truck Show is rolling into Monument, Colorado on June 14th, 2026. Bring your ride out to the legendary Big Red at 146 North Jefferson Street in Monument and be part of one of the coolest truck shows in the state. We're talking classic trucks, custom builds, lifted rigs, and clean street cruisers, all lined up with the Rocky Mountains as your backdrop. Move-in starts at 8 a.m. and the show runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Registration is just $35, and every dollar helps support the Tri-Lakes Cruisers Automotive Scholarship Fund, presented by Hefty Fabworks. This is more than a show. It's a community, a passion, and a day you don't want to miss. So shine it up, fire it up, and roll in. For full details, scan the QR code or visit www.trilakescruisers.com. That's June 14th in Monument, Colorado. The Tri-Lakes Cruisers Truck Show, where horsepower meets the mountains. Looking to bring your ride back to life? Or just clean it up and make that beater look better than ever? At Sunrise Riding Custom, we turn worn out into wow. From rust repair to full restoration to complete customization, we've got you covered. Need something to stand out at the next show? We specialize in pinstriping, custom lettering, and one-of-a-kind paint that makes your ride truly yours. Whether it's a classic cruiser, a shop truck, or your daily driver, we take pride in every detail because your ride deserves it. Located in Parker, Colorado, Sunrise Rod & Custom is your go-to shop for craftsmanship that turns heads. Give Jeff Lytle a call today at 983-217-3239. Or follow along on Instagram at sunrise_rod_custom. Sunrise Rod & Custom. We don't just fix cars, we bring them back to life, and a whole lot more. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, we're back. We're back. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the last few years, I'd say more than a few years, quite a few years, patina has been really a pretty popular thing to have on a car, on a truck, or whatever. And there's so much history in a vehicle that has the patina paint job. If you look at some of these older trucks and stuff, they might have been a delivery truck back in the day, and they've got a company's faded logo on the door, and maybe another company bought it and they put their logo on the door. So you got two or three different logos that's faded through and stuff like that. And really, it's just the history of that truck is basically what it is. So I made this song, and it's called Patina Is Not a Color, It's History. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Sun bleached hood under a western sky, faded red where the years rolled by. Every scratch came honest, never planned. Grease-stained dreams in a working man's hands. Coffee cold, wrench turned slow. Midnight oil where the barn lights glow. Ain't no shame in the wear you see that steel's lived a life just like me. Patina's not a color, it's history. Every mile's a story, yeah, true patina history. You can paint it up, make it shine like new, but you'll cover up the truth that's been through. Patina is not a color, it's history. Bench seat cracked from 1,000 rides, back road dust and a passenger side tailgate dents from a loading day. More than metal, it's the price we pay. Hand-me-down keys, an old man's grin. Son, don't erase where you've been. That rust ain't right, it's memory, holding tight to who we used to be. Patina's not a color, it's history. Every mile's a story, yeah, true patina history. Chrome don't talk and gloss won't stay, but scars still speak at the end of the day. Patina's not a color, it's history. They want it smooth, want it factory clean, like time never touched a thing. But life don't run on a showroom floor. It leaves its mark, then leaves some more. Patina's not a color, it's history. Every mile's a story, yeah, true patina history. If this steel could talk, it'd tell you why. Pride don't fade and truth don't lie. Patina's not a color, it's history. Let it wear, let it show. That's the life we chose to know.
It's the truth, man. Patina is really a history of a vehicle, man. It's pretty cool if you really sit around and think about it. My buddy Texas Rich, he's always talking about sweet tea and he's always talking about patina paint jobs and stuff like that. So one day I was sitting around and I said, you know what? I need to make a song about him, and it's called Sipping on Sweet Tea in My Patina C10. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Driving down the road with my favorite girl beside me, sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10. No hurry in our hearts, no place we gotta be, just highways and country roads stretching again. The sun sinking low in an orange glow, dash tail stories dancing all windows down, let the warm wind roll, laughing like we ain't gotta care at all. Sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10, every mile feels better with her next to me. Country songs playing loud on the radio dial, just chasing that sunset wild and free. It ain't about no pain or where we've been, it's my favorite girl, my patina C10. Your life rolls easy, slow and clean, sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10. No particular place that we're trying to find, just letting the road make up our minds. She kicks back laughing, feet on the floor, says this old truck makes me want more. Static fades into a steel guitar, singing along like we wrote the song. If this night's short or if it goes far, it feels like right where we belong. Sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10, windows down, let the whole world see. Country songs playing loud again, every back road feels like destiny. It ain't about rushing or pretending when it's right now, right here, just her and him. Your love rides easy, simple and free, sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10. Little rust on the doors, memories and steel, every scratch got something real. She says don't change a single thing. I smile and let that engine sing. I smile and let that engine sing. Sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10, radio low, stars coming on. If this truck could talk, it'd say amen to every mile we've already gone. My favorite gal sitting next to me, my kind of life the way it's meant to be. Yeah, this is heaven, slow and unseen, sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10. No destination, no need to pretend, just driving through dreams till the road runs thin. Me and her till the night road ends, sipping on sweet tea in my patina C10.
This next song right here, what color is patina? Carter, patina is every color that vehicle has ever been in its life, and it's never been painted over. I mean, it could have started out as a red truck, and then somebody painted it into a blue truck, and then somebody painted it into a green truck. And over the years, those paints have worn off, and the different colors are shining through, and different things like that. So that's what patina is. It's something that's never been painted. It's just the history of that vehicle. It tells its own story. If you just sit back and you look and you just look for different things, it tells you a story about what that truck is like, or that car or anything like that. So This next song right here, guys, is called Walking with the Legends on Beale. We'll be right back here with Kathy and Roger Gallagher here in just a minute on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Neon flickers on the sidewalk, Memphis night alive. Boot steps echo down the pavement where the blues still thrive. From the days of theater to club handy's old stage glow, every corner's got a heartbeat from 100 years ago. I passed by Rum Boogie Cafe, hear a guitar cry, like a king of blues still bending notes that never die. And I swear I hear a piano rolling through the night, like Fats Domino's still playing somewhere out of sight. I'm walking with the legends on Beale tonight, where the past and the present collide in the light. Every doorway's got a story, every shadow's got a name, and the ghosts of the music still fan the flame. Yeah, I'm walking with the legends on Beale. They say a young man once walked here, quiet, watching every move, learn the soul of every rhythm, every Memphis groove. Elvis Presley found his fire in these midnight sounds. Now his echo rides the breeze when the sun goes down. I feel a Lucille crying in the humid air tonight, that sweet sting of 6 steel strings cutting through the night. You can hear B.B. King in every note that lingers on, like he never really left, just kept playing on. I'm walking with the legends on Beale tonight, where the past and the present collide in the light. From the stages to the sidewalks, every scar and stain still carries every chorus, every loss and gain. Yeah, I'm walking with the legends on Beale. Some are names in neon, some are carved in stone, some just live forever in a broken microphone. But they all come back when the night rolls in, and that old street starts to sing again. I'm walking with the legends on Beale tonight. Hear them laughing in the distance, just out of sight. Every step I take, I ain't alone at all. I can feel them in the rhythm of this southern call. Yeah, I'm walking with the legends on Beale. and a memory, and a street that never sleeps.
All right, walking with the legends on Bill tonight, guys. Our next song up here, and then we are definitely going to the phones and call Kathy and Roger. This is called Produce Stand Angel. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Selling produce from a stand on a county road by the interstate line. All I've done since I was a boy was live this simple life of mine. Said we would slow that Sunday afternoon, so I sat with my back to the road, strumming on that old six string, singing the songs I've always known. I was singing He Stopped Loving Her Today by old George Jones himself. Just a lonely tune for the open air and the tomatoes on the shelf. Then I heard a voice like an angel, soft as a summer breeze. I turned around and there she stood, the most beautiful sight I'd ever seen. She said, keep on singing that old song. Your voice sounds like heaven to me. Somewhere between George Jones and Charlie Pride is where your heart ought to be. I almost gave up on love till the good Lord sent me your way. Now I believe in miracles at a little produce stand today. I set that six string down a moment, didn't know what I should say, but she smiled and said, please keep singing, don't let that music fade away. So I picked that old guitar back up, let the country music play, and somewhere between those old love songs I saw love back in her eyes that day. She said, keep on singing that old song. Your voice sounds like heaven to me. Somewhere between George Jones and Charlie Pride is where your heart ought to be. I almost gave up on love till the good Lord sent me your way. Now I believe in miracles at a little produce stand today. She stayed around most of that afternoon while the sun moved low in the sky. Listen to every country tune like the words were written for her and I. When it came time for her to leave, she turned and softly said, "Can I stop by and see you again? 'Cause I think I'm in love instead." With a produce stand singer on a quiet country road, where a six-string and a broken heart found a love it didn't know. She said, "Keep on singing those old songs. Your voice still sounds like heaven to me." Somewhere between George Jones and Charlie Pride is where your heart will always be. Now the Lord writes love stories in ways we never planned. Mine started with a country song at a roadside produce stand.
There you go, roadside produce stand right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, pay attention to some bills we got to pay, and then we're going to talk to Roger and Kathy Gauger right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
When your glass takes a hit, don't let it slow you down. At Midwest Auto Glass LLC, we get you back on the road, fast, safe, and done right the first time. From windshield replacement and window regulator repair to window tint and quick chip repair. And here's the big one. They specialize in RV glass replacement and heavy equipment glass too. That means whether you're driving your daily ride, hauling down the highway in your RV, or running hard on the job site, they got you covered. Call Jose today at 720-291-4464. That's 720-291-4464. Visit MWAGLLC.com or email MidwestAutoGlassLC@gmail.com. Midwest Auto Glass LLC, from the road to the job site to the open highway. They keep your view clear and your wheels rolling.
Need to pick me up to start your day. There's a place in Parker that'll get you going. Rise and Grind Coffee has bold espresso, strong coffee, smooth lattes, plus chai teas and cold. Smoothies, regular or decaf, whatever you're in the mood for. Hungry, grab a hot breakfast burrito or a fresh muffin, quick, simple, and ready to roll. Got something coming up, any event or party you're planning, they've got a portable coffee cart that brings the coffee right to you. Fresh drinks served on site. Local spot, good coffee, good people. Rise and Grind Coffee, fueling your day, one cup at a time.
And now, pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, guys, we're back. Now we're going to call the man, the myth, the legend, and the lady that keeps him tame, Mr. Roger and Kathy Gallagher right here. So we're going to give them a call, and we're going to call them just a little bit early, but I know they'll be ready. I know they will. Let's see here. Okay. Yep, we got dial tone, we got everything. We're ready to go.
Hello.
Roger, what's going on, man?
Roller, how in the world are you doing, my friend?
You know what, buddy? I'm doing excellent now that I get to talk to some of my favorite people in the monster truck business, man. You don't really realize how much I look forward when I found out I was working with you at every show. You guys just made it so easy. Life was just so fun when I worked shows with you guys.
Man, we enjoyed it, Roller. We had a great time, man. Just thinking back since I've talked to you, all the memories and stuff coming back to me and the good times we had at all the shows. It's amazing, all the stuff we've done.
We really have. I guess what we should do is we should just kind of basically start out at the beginning and work our way through this grand trip of 35 years and just kind of tell the folks a little bit about everything about what's going on. So when you started out as a young man, did you have some kind of a passion to be in the motorsports industry, not per se the monster truck, but just doing something?
Yeah, I actually start off. I was watching a lot of the demo derbies. I go to the local demo derbies, or we have a racetrack, Tri-State Speedway here in Hobstadt, Indiana. I do some stuff like that. Just go up and watch the races, and I did a couple of the demo derbies and chain races and stuff like that, and really had a great time with it. And then, then Bigfoot Bob come rolling out with that big truck, and that just changed my world, buddy.
You know, Bob changed a lot of people's world. But before we go any farther, I just want to tell your lovely wife I said hello, please. She's so special in my life too. So I'll tell her I said hello, please.
Hi, Roller.
Hi,
Glad to
sugar.
talk to you. It's been a long time.
It's it's been a long time. It really has. We want if you're up for it, we'd like to talk to you a little bit too tonight. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure they want to hear me. They want to
Well,
hear the
you're
monster truck
You
driver,
know
but
what? You kept taming the beast is what you kept taming. You kept the beast under control is what you did. But Roger, you're running around watching these demo derbies and stuff, and then Bob Chandler comes into your life, and he, like I said before, he is responsible for so many people getting into the monster truck business. What was it like back in the day? I mean, I can remember as a kid watching Jim Cramer and stuff, but I never did get a chance to watch Bob drive. What was it like watching Bob Chandler pull out in this amazing, huge truck?
It was unbelievable. I remember when it happened. We had a little mud bog track up in Chandler, Indiana,
Uh huh.
and I heard some rumors around that this is back like before internet and all that stuff got that big, but
Right.
and I was hearing that some guy was going to come up here with this great big truck and going to run over these cars, and I thought, man, I've got to see that. I just can't imagine somebody having a truck big enough to run over some cars, and I did. I stood there and watched it, and I remember back then, we had the 110 and 126 cameras. We didn't have all the fancy digitals and phones and stuff we have now. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I can remember back taking snapshots of like the front wheels on it, and then the back wheels getting up on top of the cars and coming off the top of the cars. And then I was so excited. I wanted to see the pictures again. But back then, we had to go have them developed.
Yes. Exactly.
To wait a couple of weeks. So I remember running home, and I was telling my dad about what this guy did with his pickup truck, and I said, I got pictures. I said, you're just going to have to wait so I can show you.
Yeah. why did it take so long to get those pictures developed? I never could understand that. You drop them off in the little building that looks like a camera, and then even sometimes you got other people's pictures in your film.
Exactly, exactly right. And you start looking at the negatives. I didn't take that picture. Who are these people?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, when did I get married? I'm not sure. I'm only a young man. When did I get married? Who's these wedding photos of? But yeah, that
Yeah,
happened to us a lot. It really did. But no,
yeah,
Bob is such an amazing man, and he has surrounded himself with so many amazing drivers. It's a big responsibility as a driver for Bigfoot to carry on Bob's tradition, and you're doing this, and we're jumping way ahead, but you're doing the same thing right now.
right. And I mean, I am very blessed to have the opportunity. This will be our fourth year to run the Bigfoot body and represent that Bigfoot team. And it's just amazing. And I appreciate the opportunity so much that we've made a lot of great friends over there through all this.
Yeah, exactly. We have a gentleman on here, and I know you're going to know the name when I tell you, Chad Burdick, and
Uh-huh.
he's on here, and he said, "Hey, Roller, do you mind if I talk to or speak to Roger?" Chad, I don't mind. You're going to have to speak through me. I'll be your medium here tonight. But yeah, you're more than welcome. So I've told him you're here. What do you want to ask him, Chad? Let's see what he's got to say here. But we can go on. So
Sure.
when you started decide, okay, I'm gonna get into this monster truck business. Uh, what what was your driving force, and how long did it take you to go from photographer to driver?
Well, we bought the first truck in '91 is when we bought the first truck and I started driving. So Kathy and I literally got married, and so it was a few years that
Because you were 16 when you
yeah,
started.
I was 16 or 17 when I seen Bigfoot
Uh huh.
for the first time.
We were 28 when we got
Yeah,
married.
we were 28 when we got married. So there were some years through there, but we dated off and on and everything, but we had an understanding before we ever got married that I was going to do the monster trucks, and she just didn't know I was going to do it this long.
She thought maybe it was just a fad,
Exactly,
huh?
exactly.
Kathy, I know you guys, from the way that I remember Roger answering the questions for the song and stuff. I know you guys bought this first monster truck on your anniversary. I mean, not your anniversary, but on your honeymoon on the way back home. Is that correct?
It is. We got married here in Evansville and went to Gatlinburg for a few days, and then we went to a truck show in
Kingsport.
Kingsport, Tennessee. And Bennett was there with Clydesdale,
Uh huh.
and Bad News was there, the original Bad News with Norman Myers,
Uh huh.
and that was the truck we were looking at. And yeah, so not. I think we are the only ones that I know of that bought our first monster truck on our honeymoon. But yes, we that story it has gotten a lot of mileage over the years, and
I bet it
we're
has.
the only ones that I know of.
Right, exactly. You know, what did you think when you were marrying this man and he told you, "Hey, we're going to get into the monster truck business"? And did you think it was just going to be the short ride, or did you think, this man's really got a passion for it, and I think I'm in for the long haul?
Yeah, he's not a quitter, and I knew he wasn't a quitter, and he told me what he was going to do, and he works hard at everything he does.
Yes, he
And
does.
so I knew it was going to be long term. I just didn't realize it was going to be this long term.
But would you
But
rather have done anything else in your career, in your lifetime? I mean, you've
uh
kind of enjoyed this,
no,
haven't you?
yeah, I have, and we have met so many neat people over the United States, so many friends. Um, it's just been amazing.
Right, right. There are good people out there in the monster truck world, man. It's just a big family, and the camaraderie that you have at the shows. Uh, you might not see that person like us. We might do 2 or 3 shows together, and then I wouldn't see you for a whole year. But when you got back and seeing each other again, you kind of just picked up where you left off. Am I right?
Exactly. And some people you just feel like you've known forever. I
Right.
mean, they're just easy to talk to, they're personable, they're just fun and everybody has a common interest.
Sure. Now, Kathy, what is your favorite part of a monster truck show? What do you enjoy still after 35 years in this business?
Can I answer that for a roller? She'll probably tell you the end.
Well, my first thought was when the truck loads itself under its own power. That
Right.
was my first thought.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought, no, probably racing because that's his favorite part of the show.
Yeah, yeah. It always has been his favorite part, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, he's okay with the wheelies and two-wheel skills, but racing is his love. And I mean, he likes freestyle, but racing's the favorite part of the show.
I would like to see a racing series come back. I would really like to see that. What about you, Roger?
Absolutely. And one reason why I, I I like the racing part of it because it's just in my blood. But another thing, some of my guys have talked about when you're racing somebody, you make your own destiny. You know what I'm saying? It's
Uh-huh.
not like if you do the wheelie contest, if you do a donut contest, any kind of the freestyle or anything like that, a lot of times the fans vote for that. Most of the time, the fans vote for it. Well, it depends on how big of a name truck you got and what have you. But when you're racing, you else win or lose, and that's on you.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true. When you pull up next in a race and and you're racing somebody that's got a truck quality capable of, like when you were in your trucks back in the day, and you pull up against somebody like Dan Runte, you got to be on your game. You have to be ready to go because that man is ready to go.
He was outstanding. I mean, he was one of my favorite guys to run with,
Yeah.
race with, and everything.
Good
He was
friend.
just a great friend, a great person, on the track, off the track with the fans. It didn't matter. He was the same guy, and he was by far one of my favorites. But just like you said, when you lined up against him, you knew you better be ready.
Guaranteed, man, guaranteed. So let's go back to that first truck. What did you call what was the name of that first truck?
It was bad news.
Bad news. Now, explain bad news to the people out there that don't really follow the monster truck business. Talk about what kind of motor it had and what it was and whether it was Ford or Chevy. I can't remember myself.
Right. It back when I bought it from Norman Myers in '91. Um, we purchased a truck and he brought it. Part of the deal was he brought it to my house because he had a hauler and everything, and I wasn't real familiar with all that. So I wanted him to bring it to my house when I purchased it from him. So that was the deal we made. But the truck itself was a 1991 Chevrolet, and it was painted bright yellow.
Yep.
And it had actually, when I bought it, it had a 350 cubic inch small block in it. Had a small block engine on a Hillborn fuel injection with a 2-speed power glide transmission, and it had a 2.5-ton military transfer case and 5-ton axles with Clark knuckles
Uh huh.
on it. All leaf springs, all leaf
Oh
springs.
yeah.
The cab was steel. The bedsides and tailgate were steel, but the front clip was fiberglass.
Uh huh.
I guess just to lighten it up, or he may have had problems getting a replacement or something like that when I bought it from him. But we brought that truck home, and I worked on it for a good little while. And I took the 350 small block out of it. Now that truck weighed like 12,000
That's
pounds.
amazing, and it only had a 350 in it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a small block. But we worked on the truck, and I talked to some of the guys at actually while I was talking to Norman, we were down there looking at the truck. One of the tractor puller guys said, "You think about buying that truck?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "You know what that truck needs?" And I said, "What's that?" He goes, "It needs a blower motor in it." And I said, "That's exactly what my plan is."
Yeah.
So I had a good friend. I met a guy down there. He said he'll build good blower motors for the pulling trucks and stuff, and he'd build you one. So I pulled the 350 small block out of it and put it was 600 horse, and I put a 1200 horse blown fuel injected big block back in it.
Wow.
And I pulled the the 2.5 ton military transfer case out of it and put an all aluminum transfer case in it. And we took and I changed some of the suspension around the leaf springs and stuff. It was stiff. Back then the trucks were really stiff.
Yes,
So
they were.
I didn't have the knowledge and stuff that a lot of these guys do. So I just took and modified some of the leaf springs and what have you, cut a few of them off where I thought they needed to be cut off to make it so the suspension would have some good travel.
Uh-huh.
And we actually turned that truck around. It was a great truck when I bought it. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But we was able to take that piece from my starter piece and build from there, and it worked out pretty good for us. We did a paint job and stuff on it. I had another monster truck had actually run into the side of it and smashed the door, and so I had to replace the door, the cab corners, and the bed sides. I had to do a bunch of work to it and repaint the thing and everything. But I think it turned out pretty good. We was happy to have that truck for our first truck, and I'll tell you, shortly after I got that thing, I didn't have it too long. I remember going to the grocery. Kathy and I went to the grocery one day together, and I remember walking by the newsstand, and I looked over, and I think it was Peterson's 4-wheel drive or something like that, had Bob's Chandler all new tube chassis Bigfoot truck, and I thought, oh my gosh, I just paid all the money I got for this truck, and now they've changed directions on this thing. So, but you live and learn. You know what I'm saying? That was a stepping stone for us, and it was a great opportunity for me.
Guaranteed. Kathy, Chad has asked me to ask you guys here. No, let's see. I thought it was Chad, but it's my friend Carter. She's on here every week. She's a big fan of the show, and she said, I lost her. Let's see here. Hold on just a minute. Let me go back. Here, I can get this back here. Just sometimes my finger just clicks a button every once in a while, and it shouldn't do that. It says, is there anything that Roger did, Kathy, in his career that you said, oh no, I hope he's okay?
Kind of had one of those moments last summer at a show over in Farmington, Missouri. Because a lot of times I'm selling novelties, so I'm behind the grandstands and I can't see. So, you just hear the crowd. Sometimes I can tell if it's his motor, or if I can hear the announcer, I know it's him. And all of a sudden, I heard him say it was Roger, going to be running. And then the crowd went, and he either rolled the truck or something happened.
Uh-huh.
And I had people in line, and they came up and I said, did he just roll the truck? And they said, no, he was on fire. And I was like, oh my God. And because I was like, I thought he rolled the truck. And that week it was a particularly really busy, our July and August are really crazy with fair shows. And I'm like, he rolled the truck and we've got 3 or 4 shows this week. I was like, oh, but he caught on fire because the hydraulic hose was spraying up on the motor. So it was a real quick flash fire. And then that's probably my worst fear is fire, but everything worked out because fire department was there and, all was taken care of real quick. But yeah, we've had a few of those moments over the years.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you right now. Richard Kaiser's on here and he says it doesn't get any better than Roger and Kathy. Always great running with them. And that's the truth, Richie. It is a good time running with them. I'll promise you that.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike Edmonds on here and he said, hello, Roger and Kathy.
Hey,
Hi, Mike.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to go through the questions are jumping in here quite fast in here. So I'm trying to ask as many as I can here. Carter wants to know, what is the highest you've ever jumped?
Oh my. I don't know. We've hit the buses and stuff. We did a show in somewhere up northern Indiana. Can't think of where it was. And we went to do a bus. They had a bus set up on the track, and I actually cleared the landing ramp and landed on the gravel on the other side of the landing ramp.
Wow.
So we got up there pretty good, and that truck's pretty heavy.
Right, yeah. So, Roger, what are some of the other trucks that you've piloted? I know that, of course, you've been in USA 1 and stuff, and that's something I want to get into in here in just a minute. But what come after your first truck? What come after that?
Like I said, we had that first. We bought the first truck, and we were kind of campaigning that. And then I'd seen the direction the industry was going with the tube chassis and stuff. So I started looking in and doing a bunch of research and stuff. And I'd met people through the years, what couple of years we did the truck, started with the first truck. And I thought, man, I can the tube chassis. You know, I was a pipe fitter
Uh-huh.
as a tradesman, so I
Uh,
thought tube chassis. This ain't nothing but pipe. I'm welding together. I can do this.
right.
So we started designing our own truck and everything, and that's when we come out with Quadzilla One, which was a '96 Ford regular cab with a long bed,
Uh-huh.
all fiberglass truck and everything, but it's all DOM tubing and everything. So we did that, and uh, built, we put a big blower motor and stuff in it. And I had some smaller ZF type axles, some real small ones. And we did a couple shows with them. And I talked to a bunch of the other guys that, had been running for a few years. And they said, you're going to break them. You're going to break them. And I said, I understand. And so we changed that around a little bit. And I put some different axles and stuff underneath it to beef it up so we could actually, get some more air and be a little bit more competitive. But yeah, so that was 90s. That 96 truck was the first tube chassis I actually built.
Uh-huh. That's
And
that was a game changer for you.
yes, absolutely. And then we ran that a little while, and then we started building. Well, then Ford came out with that Super Duty,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't want to cut up that chassis and everything to make it the Super Duty body fit on it. So um, I started building that new chassis. Kathy just sent me a note. I started laying out the chassis and stuff, how I wanted to do that on that first truck, the 96 truck. And she was a nurse and she was working nights, I believe, that night. And she come home from work and I was in the family room and I think I had every yardstick and every 6-foot folding rule I had laid out all over the floor and trying to draw, because I didn't have CAD system or anything back
Right,
then.
exactly.
So I'm trying to figure out this geometry and everything and how I'm gonna get this thing working. She comes walking downstairs and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Whatever you do, don't touch nothing."
Don't touch my monster truck, please.
She said, "Have you been drinking?" I said, "That's beside the point. Just don't touch nothing." So
And how many, because Roller, I used to collect yardsticks when we would go to the 4-H fairs. Everybody gave you a yardstick. So
Right.
hard to tell him how many I had, and he had every one of them down on the basement floor
Oh, that's funny.
designing this,
chassis.
the chassis and how it was going to work
Oh.
and move.
That's one thing that I like about the format of this show is you get to hear the stories, the backstories on how stuff was created and the things that the driver went through to build the truck. And I mean that one there is just gold. To I can just picture the downstairs floor just shaped like a frame on a monster truck, and you telling Kathy, please don't touch anything. I've worked for hours on this. Do not touch anything.
Well, and I was working that evening, so I was at the hospital. He was home alone, nobody disturbing him. So yeah, he just decided he'd figure out the suspension, and he did.
Well, see, that's what I mean, Kathy. If us boys don't have a good woman around us, sometimes we run amok. We really do. We do things we shouldn't do, but it was a necessary to do thing for sure, guaranteed.
He was definitely unsupervised.
Right, exactly. Now, Chad has told me here, Roller, will you please tell Roger to give him a call when you get some time sometime? So
Sure will.
he said he sure will. All right. So, and he says then also you need to be, will you be coming up to Terre Haute anytime soon?
I don't think Terre Haute is on our schedule this year. Right now, we've got like 40 shows booked for the summer season. And I don't think we're within Terre Haute. We're being probably the closest place around Evansville here will be is Princeton, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be on July the 6th, I believe.
And then Albion.
And then Albion, Illinois is the closest stuff I'm going to be around here's our
Right.
hometown because, like I said, we do a lot of stuff with Full Throttle Monster Trucks and J.R. Rouse and that group. And just like you said earlier, Roy, it's a family thing.
It
Them are
is.
some of the best guys, and we've known each other for years and we've, made great friends doing it. We've had a blast.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the Quadzilla truck.
Okay. Well, we started off with that truck. We run it for a few years. That truck we had I actually had 30-inch travel shocks on that and started off with a 514 cubic inch blower motor
Uh-huh.
in it. And I had the 106 Rockwells on it with Clark Planetaries, and I just had a Turbo 400, I think, in that thing, and it weighed like 10,000 pounds, something like that.
Uh-huh.
But it was a 96 Ford, all fiberglass body and everything. And I had a guy airbrush we kind of did a dinosaur type thing on the side of it.
Right.
And he put Quadzilla like on the bed sides and stuff. I kind of had a plan for what I wanted. And the dinosaur looking character had four wheels rather than feet. It actually had four tires, like monster truck tires on it.
Uh-huh.
And the Quadzilla name on the back and stuff kind of looked like it was out of stone, from back in the Stone Ages or what have you.
Right.
So it was a good truck. It was a great truck for straight line racing because it was a little bit longer wheelbase. And I couldn't quite do the corners as good as everybody else, but a straight line drags, back then, a lot of the Pennant Point series and stuff, I believe, was going on, and that's kind of the direction I was headed. And I thought, man, well, this truck would be a good straight line truck, and that's what we kind of designed it to do. And things have changed up and everything, and we've actually rebuilt. No, I'm sorry, that's not the chassis we rebuilt. We sold that chassis. But then I started on that 2002 Ford Super Duty. So I started building a second chassis while I was still campaigning that first one. And we learned some stuff and everything from that. So we changed the shocks and stuff. It's still nitrogen charged shocks and stuff like that on it. And 557, we put a little bit bigger motor in it. And we changed the Rockwell Planetaries, and that truck weighed in, I think, around 10,000 pounds, something like that. But it was all fiberglass body. It was a 2002 Ford Super Duty body is what that one was.
You've had quite a few Fords in your lifetime, haven't you?
Yeah, yep. Yes, I have.
That Ford Oval is kind of in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, did you have Bootlegger before you had Quadzilla?
No, Bootlegger actually come out after Quadzilla.
Uh-huh.
Um, we did we had Quadzilla 2, and actually Scott Bryant was driving Quadzilla for me when we come out with USA 1, if I remember correctly. And then we actually started, we had Bootlegger.
Uh-huh.
And then we also did the USA 1 thing, but we also had a truck called County Mountie.
Uh-huh.
And we actually, that kind of leads into the next segment or whatever you want to do, but we we ended up with the USA 1. But we actually started off, when I started designing and getting a new chassis and stuff together, I had somebody build this chassis for me.
Uh-huh.
And it was going to be my County Mountie truck. So it's kind of a police type pickup truck design, right, and stuff like that. It's got lights and stuff on it. Well, then an opportunity come by to us to possibly run the USA 1.
Uh-huh.
So we had that opportunity. We just kind of went a different direction there for a little bit, if you will.
Right. Well, what was it like to be asked to run a legendary truck like USA 1?
Well, it's funny the way that worked out. Kathy and I was actually headed to our local AAA ball game here one night, and my good friend Scott Bryant called me and said, "Hey, I know we're going to do this other chassis, and you kind of have another name and body and design and stuff picked out." He said, "But would you consider running a different identity on this truck?" And I said, on this chassis, and I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, I know somebody's wanting to get back, get their name back out there that hadn't been around for a little while."
Right.
And I said, "Well, I would possibly consider it, depending on who it is." You know what I'm saying? I said, "We're kind of building our name and stuff like that now. And, we're getting some followers and stuff like that rooting for us." And I said, "It just depends on who it is." And finally, he kept kind of leading me on. I said, "Well, who are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, Everett Jasmer with USA 1.
Wow.
And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "I'm friends with Everett." And he said, "I've been talking to him about you, and he would really like to talk to you and see if we can get together on running the USA 1 body."
Right.
So that's how that kind of come about, and we started campaigning that in 2015. And it was a gold colored chassis or bronze colored chassis, and we actually did that chassis that color because it was going to be my County Mountie truck.
Uh-huh.
Which it would have gone real good with my paint scheme that I had designed on the County Mountie truck. Well, then when it come out USA 1, well, then there was, some people questioning why did it have a gold chassis. Well, a lot of people didn't understand that come up kind of as a last minute deal. We already had that, was already headed one direction, and this opportunity came along for us is what it was.
Sure. Now, when Don King was running the Quadzilla body, did he come to you and ask to use the name, or did he? I mean, what's the story on that? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, Don, I don't know that he ran that body. I did shows with Don.
Well, I mean, he ran a truck called Quadzilla.
Uh, I didn't know that, but I mean, we did quite a few shows. I was running for Don King a bit,
Uh-huh.
so I don't know if he.
Doing a barefoot.
Yeah, he was doing the barefoot stuff
Right,
when,
yeah,
whenever I run.
exactly right. Yeah, he had there was El Bandito.
Yes,
I think it was Quadzilla. I'm sure it was Quadzilla. If memory, of course, I've slept since then, so who knows? I could be wrong here, but he had. I thought for sure he had to win because I remember that truck being a really really good wheelie truck. Of course, all of Don's trucks were good wheelie trucks. The way he set things up and stuff. But oh well, I could be wrong. It might be a bad error on my part. So we can
no,
roll through that.
no big deal. It may have been the Godzilla truck or something. Also, I don't really
Maybe it
know.
was. Well, I don't know. I can't. I'm going to have to do some homework, and I'm going to have to get back with you on that because that's really going to just make this old mind really start thinking. Now, I'll probably remember it in the middle of the night, about 3 in the morning. You're going to be up, want to talk. You're going to be ready, have a cup of coffee together or something like
Just call me the
that.
next morning, Roller.
Yeah.
Call me the next morning.
Okay. Call you the next morning. Yeah, I can do that for sure. You know. Let's see here. I'm just kind of looking through comments here and stuff. Let's see here. Kimberly Killock says Roger and Kathy are amazing people. You got so many people in here that are just that they can't say nothing wrong about you guys, and neither can I. I could never say anything wrong about you two guys. You guys are just the best. I mean, it was so fun to work with you. I mean that, and I'm going to probably tell you that a million times tonight. But it just meant so much to me. The one that really meant the most to me was when we worked Lubbock together that one time, and
Yes,
I think that was my last show with you. You had the red hauler back then, didn't you?
yes, I did.
And
Yep.
were you running USA one then?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you gave me your crew shirt. I remember that. I went
Yep.
around and asked everybody for a crew shirt, and you took the one on. In fact, Kathy brought it to me. And she goes, "It's dirty." And I said, "That's the way I want it. I don't want a clean one. I don't want you to take one out of the bag because I want you to use that one. I want the one that has the dirt and the grime on it and stuff like that. And I think I wore it here on the show one night, and then I took it back and put it on the hanger. But it's never been. It still has the grease on it. It still has the dirt. It still has the Rogerisms on it, man. And I'll never forget that. I never forget that. It was you and I think Kevin Kazala was there.
I
He
believe
was
that's right.
running, and wasn't it Bobby Holman and his boy?
Yes.
They
Yes.
were. That was a fan. I loved that old building. That old building was so fun. It was just a big, huge roof dome, and it really had a good sound to it when the trucks ran. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a big place.
Yeah, it
Big place.
was. It really was, and it's gone now. From what I hear, they tore it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. And Roller, if you don't mind, you made a comment about Kimmy Killock chimed in there.
Uh huh.
Those are some great people. We met them years ago, and they actually live in New York, and they actually come down and visit with us quite often. They have family down here, and they stay with us.
Uh
And
huh.
not only that, their son Brett, Rob and Kimmy's son Brett, actually goes with us. They go to the shows and stuff with us, and they're actually going to help us. I think for like a week,
Oh,
um,
awesome.
or a couple of days for sure, and possibly a week this summer. So we're going to get to spend some time together. So, like you said, you meet people all over the world, and those are some great people right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Now let me ask you: is there going to be some karaoke and some barbecuing going on? you know I mean, I got to know this. You got to talk to Roller here. We ain't talked in a while, and I didn't know that you love karaoke. I mean, I love the
Well,
karaoke. I could clear a building. Now if
yeah,
you wanted me to sing, I could take a building and clear it at the end of the show. Just put me on a microphone and have me sing, and people would leave. But
right.
I love to do the karaoke deal. I do, and I love barbecue. So how come we never did get a chance to do that together?
Well, you're going to have to come to a couple of shows where we can hang out for a couple of evenings.
Oh God, that would be awesome. Yeah,
So
that
we
would.
go But funny you should mention karaoke at truck show. One of them guys, I don't know if it was Dalton or Richie. We were there to show. One of them come back from Walmart or somewhere, and hey, we got you hooked up now, Roger. And I go, what do you got? And they held up this great big speaker, and I said, what is that thing? A big jam box? And they go, no, it's a karaoke machine.
Portable karaoke out of the trailer.
Exactly. And then one show, the other show we did. Sometimes I like to barbecue. Sometimes we'll do barbecue. I'll barbecue some ribs or something like that, and we'll take them to a show. Well, we were doing a show over in Illinois, and Dalton Van Skyok and Mark Entwistle was there, and we throw the ribs and stuff. I'll cook them ahead of time and cut them up and everything. Then we just throw them in a crock pot. You know what I'm saying? Because you're out there, you don't always have time to do everything you want to do.
Right.
We're busy working on the trucks and stuff. So Kathy will throw the stuff in the crock pot and warm it up. Well, we took the crock pot over to Dalton's trailer so he could, he had power right there. He was closer to the power outlet, so he had power. So we said, hey, can we put this in there and warm this up? And they go, yeah. And so we set the ribs, the crock pot. We're sitting out there talking one thing. Then we get done with our work, and next thing you know, Dalton's standing at the door holding nothing but a rib bone. And I go, what are you doing? And he says, Roger, these ribs don't have very much meat on them. And he'd already cleaned the meat off the ribs. He wasn't holding nothing but the bone. I mean, these guys, it's a family thing, man. We have a great time with all these guys, and I mean, it's just unbelievable. They did a show in Bloomsburg. Jamboree, one of the jamborees in Bloomsburg. And I think Dalton and them guys were, his crew was changing the transmission, and it was later in the evening and everything. And people may or may not have had a couple drinks or something then, but we got up there and we found that karaoke machine. So I started singing in the back of the trailer. I thought we might as well test this thing out.
There you go. Got to get it happening for sure.
Yeah.
And the campers were checking up to see what was going on. It was so funny. People were sticking their heads out of the campers, walking out. It was like gopher holes. They were just like popping their head out, like, what is that noise?
It's Roger. He's crooning everybody. He's a crooner. Roger the crooner and the barbecue
He really
ski.
does a good job. He really does a good job. But it was so funny. Those people were just like, what is going on? And I mean, of course, there's a lot of laughing and a lot of fun going on with this.
I think, like I said, there may have been some beverages, and then David Allen Cole, I believe, come out singing.
There you go, man. That's me. After a few beverages and stuff, and after announcing a show or two for the weekend, I could do a pretty good Louis Armstrong, Wonderful World. But that was about as far as my karaoke went. I tried a couple other things, but I just didn't have the voice to do it. But Chad saved the day. I'm not going to have to call you at 3 a.m. That Don's truck was called Torquezilla. I knew there was a Zilla in there, but it was Torquezilla. That's what it was.
There you go.
So
yep.
Good job. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Well, you don't have to call me darling. That's what Dalton said.
Yeah, them guys, that was funny. They were knee deep in changing that transmission, and I don't know, I just couldn't help myself. Somebody said, let's go get that karaoke machine out and start singing to them. I said, okay, here we go.
Let's get her done. Get her done for sure, man. Out of all the buildings and stuff that you've ran in your career, what was your favorite building to run in?
Wow. Man, that's a hard one.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, probably. Kathy just mentioned Minneapolis. We did a show in Minneapolis for Monster Jam, and that's where up in Minnesota. That's where Everett's originally from. So
right.
we were doing the USA One thing, and they had Everett come out in his, I don't know if it was his '89. I can't remember which truck. He come out with one of the few trucks he still had, and so he kind of drove around the track with it and everything. So Everett was there, and it was the brand new Minnesota Vikings football stadium. I can't think of what they call that.
After the roof collapsed,
they rebuilt that thing, and we come up there and we got invited up there. And I wasn't quite quick enough to do racing, so they put us in the wheelie contest, and there was, I think, 6 trucks in the wheelie contest, if I remember correctly, and we was actually able to take the win on the wheelie contest up there, and it was just a huge arena. You know what I'm saying? Now, we do a lot of stuff at the fairgrounds, and we did a lot of stuff the same size arenas and stuff when you and I were working together.
Right.
And But when you go to a football stadium like that, that's pretty big. And there, there's a lot of stuff there. It's Monster Jam. You know how Monster Jam is. Everything's
Yeah.
big there. And but we had a good enough performance that we actually were able to win the wheelie contest. So I'm gonna have to say that was probably one of my favorite places because it was just so big inside there.
Right, right. We got still got people jumping back to karaoke stuff. Chad said that you're quite an aficionado of Elvis Presley songs.
I've been known to sing a few. I didn't roll, or I didn't say I was good at it. I said I could sing.
Yeah. Well, at the time, after maybe an adult beverage or two, you think you're really good. I mean, there was sometimes I thought, you know what? I think I could teach Louis Armstrong how to sing this song. Yeah.
Well, the people that don't like my singing, whatever, they just haven't drank enough yet.
That's there's the whole key. If they would dish drink enough, they would think you are the man, the myth, and the legend, both of the karaoke world. I promise you that.
So we have a lot of fun doing it. We really do.
Oh,
A lot of times they put me on last. They like me to close the show. That way everybody's leaving anyway.
Oh, now you're trying to catch my gig. Now you're trying to do my gig. The closer. That's the closer. That's what my name was, the closer, for sure. Speaking of songs and stuff, why don't we let them hear your song?
That'd be great.
Okay. Guys, we're going to take a break here just for a second, and we're going to play Roger and Kathy's song. This is called 35 Years of Methanol and Steel. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
There's an old fairground somewhere in Indiana where a young boy stared through a chain-link fence. Bigfoot thundered by on 48-inch tires, and his whole world changed right then. Most folks would have let that dream fade out like smoke in the summer sky, but Roger held on to it with both hands and carried it through his life. Then Kathy came along beside him, and somewhere between love and chrome, two young hearts bought their very first truck on a honeymoon, headed home. 35 years of methanol and steel, a whole lot of memories money can't build. Late night miles and fairground lights, good people standing side by side. And if you ask around this business, they'll tell you the same thing every time. Roger and Kathy aren't just truck people, they're the heartbeat of this monster truck life. Bad news shook the grandstands, Quadzilla tore across the dirt, USA won and Bigfoot thundered through years of hard-earned work. 7 full throttle championships, and crowds still scream his name. But Roger never chased the spotlight, he just loved the game. Jim Kramer, Dan Runty, those memories still ride along, and old stories about Bob Chandler still come up when the nights get long. Then came Bigfoot's 50th anniversary, August 26, 25. 3,000 voices sang together before the engines came alive. And Roger stood there smiling, trying hard to hide his eyes. Then someone handed him a little RC truck, painted just like the one he drove. And in that little moment, 35 years all came rushing home. These days he still loves fishing water, cooking barbecue out back, karaoke nights with Kathy, and old friends stopping by to laugh. He rebuilt Buffalo Trammer for the TNT showdown in Raleigh, because preserving old monster truck history still means everything to him. Now younger drivers call him Pop Pop, not because of age alone, but because he's the kind of man who always makes you feel at home. 35 years of methanol and steel, Friday night thunder underneath those wheels. From county fairgrounds to Monster Jam, Roger built this life with his own two hands. And Kathy's still there beside him, like she's always been, through every mile and every memory, through thick and thin. Yeah, trophies fade and crowds move on, but respect like that remains. And Roger and Kathy left their mark on this whole game. 35 years of methanol and steel, and still chasing that little boy's dream.
There you go, 35 years of methanol and steel. That's, I really enjoyed making that song. That
So
was,
yeah, I
that was a
appreciate
fun.
that. That was great. I really appreciate that. That hit home with me and Kathy both.
It
Well,
kind of summarized our 35 years, and it was amazing.
We thank you very much for that.
not a problem. Anytime, anytime. I'm glad to do that for friends. You know, and that's one thing that now you guys are going to be into the album of all the drivers that I've had on the show, and I mean I've got a song for every driver that's been on the show, and someday I'm gonna put it out and send everybody a copy, but it's gonna be have to be like a 25 CD list, you know. It's gonna be there's gonna and each one holds 19 songs. I mean there is a lot of songs right there, but you know I would have never told you that I could write these songs and do that kind of stuff like that, you know. But I always tell everybody the amazing thing is what that AI program does for my production and my lyrics, how it turns it into something that's just memorable for everybody, you know, and it really works out good. We had a little problem, little hiccup every once in a while, but you know, you got to try to get that same voice, and it uh, it uh, it changes the melody of the song, and like yours, you know, you're like, well, I like it, but I want that tearjerker kind of deal is what I want, you know, and it definitely has that for sure. But I enjoyed doing it for you guys, I really did. So thank you
Well,
very
we
much
appreciate it.
for allowing me to
Thank
do
you.
that. And I emailed you a copy of it, correct?
I don't know if I have to double check, Roller, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't.
If I didn't, just let me know, and then that way, you know, you can get that turned into a karaoke song pretty quick, you know.
Okay.
And you, but I got to be around when you do it because I want to see it. I want to see that
Okay.
karaoke, you know. So,
All right.
thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. Kimberly, thank you. They both said that was a great song. But you know, driving for Bigfoot now. what does it mean for you to represent Bob Chandler and the Bigfoot organization? Because I know Bob keeps his finger in it a little bit every once in a while, but now it's Trent and Ann and everybody running it and stuff. But what does it make you feel like to represent Bob Chandler?
Um, Words could not describe it. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying it just because I'm on this podcast with you.
Right.
These these people are great people. I've always looked up to that organization. And it's just I've been blessed, Roller, to have this opportunity for this being the fourth season. We've been able to do that, and I am so happy that we get the opportunity to represent that iconic name. It's just unbelievable. We never in my wildest dreams when I seen that truck the first time think, man, I'd be driving in one of their trucks, driving that Bigfoot. And it's just it's just amazing. It is totally amazing, and I've made so many great friends. And this past year, we've lost a couple real good monster
Yes,
truck
we
people. We
have.
lost Dan Runty,
Yeah.
and we lost a good friend of ours in down around Kentucky, Lagrange, Kentucky, Joe Nichter.
Yeah.
And I've run
Joe,
with
yeah.
Joe. Matter of fact, Joe Nichter, the very first truck, that bad news truck was not the first truck I looked at. I actually went to Mountain Home, Arkansas, I believe it was, and drove another truck. And then Nichter, I didn't even know Joe. He got a hold of me because they were doing a show in Lagrange, Kentucky, and he said, "Would you want to come over to the show?" And I got there, and my dad said, "Roger, ain't that the truck?" My dad was still alive at the time, and he said, "Isn't that the truck you went over and moved over to Arkansas and drove?" And I said, "Oh, I don't think it is." Well, sure enough, it was. I went over to talk to Joe Nichter, and he ended up. I didn't buy the truck in Arkansas. Joe Nichter bought it, and him and I became friends and been friends for many, many years, yeah, 30 some odd years, and we lost him last year also,
Yeah.
but it's just one of them things, you hate to lose them, but you got memories. That's all you can say.
And that's the best thing about it. And the memories are always good memories. I mean, sure, there's drivers that don't get along very good and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they still can't say that they didn't enjoy running with them and doing things with them. I mean, you can't like everybody, but I don't know anybody that has ever said, "Yeah, I just cannot stand running with Roger and Kathy." I don't know anybody. If there is, there's a bunch of us on here. We're gonna go find them. We're gonna beat them up. That's all there is to it, because we got your back through this. I mean, forever and ever. You guys have just been superstars for us. Now, when were you part of the deal when we brought? It was in Lake Charles when we brought Southern Sunshine out for the intros that show when after they rebuilt it. Were you guys there?
We did a show in Lake Charles.
Yeah, and I know you did because I was there with you. I can't remember if that was the show because Mert Williams, he had Southern Sunshine Cajun King back in the day, and his brother Glenn, they lived down in Sulphur, and that's probably, I don't know, if Sean Green's on here, he could tell me, but I think that's probably maybe 45 minutes away, something like that. But anyway, Glenn and Philip Reed and Matt Ison and them, they got to work and they redid this truck. And they actually redid both trucks. And we did the show that Friday night in Lake Charles, and we had Glenn enter the truck as the first truck in the door, and it was the first time the truck had been in an arena, a monster truck arena, in God, I don't know how many years. But I was just wondering if you were part of that, if that was the show you were at.
Roller, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. Kathy and I looked at each other. I can't remember if it was that show or not. I really don't remember.
I know
Okay.
we were there, I think January of 2015
Yeah.
or early February.
Uh huh. Yeah, I can't remember. I did probably about 8 or 9 years down there at that show, so it was one of them. But I just thought maybe it was one of them because I'm working on a song for Glenn right now about Mert and about him, bringing that truck back to life and stuff like that. So, but that's the way it goes. That's all right. I just thought maybe you guys were part of that show because I think you would have
We might have
remembered you
been.
would have remembered something like that, because that Southern Sunshine was part of the first trucks out there, back when they just kind of ran up on the cars and did a few things like that. Maybe but they were more show. I mean, you open the door, it was a steel body Chevy, square body, and it had velour interior in it. I mean, it
Oh,
was,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, it was like one of the very first ones. They were more show than they were go, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Yep. Yep.
So, the stuff that's going on now with monster trucks. Could you ever believe that these young kids are doing the things that they're doing in these monster trucks nowadays?
It's it's amazing. It is just amazing the stuff, the stoppies and the backflips and stuff like that, and bicycles and all that kind of stuff these guys are doing. Back when we started, that was unheard of. But what I'm saying,
Sure.
the trucks were so heavy back then. We didn't have the suspension to do that kind of tricks and stuff with the trucks. We were just more mainly in. Back in then it was set up cars and smash the cars. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That was our show. And now everything has changed to the wheelies and the freestyle and it's still racing. Once again, racing is my favorite thing. But now these guys are doing the trick competitions and all this kind of stuff, and it's just amazing how far it has come. And never in my wildest dreams when I started this would ever end up where it is now.
Right. I forget who I had on the show, but I said back in the day, that was just the second before us on the floor hit the RII, because that was just the minute before you flipped over. That was Now they're doing controlled crashing is what they're
Oh,
doing. They're
yes.
doing that on purpose, and it's just it's amazing. Some of the stuff they do. Of course, you didn't have the motor back then that could keep the oil in the motor. You'd ruin a motor faster than anything if you did the stoppies and all that other stuff like they do now. You'd burn your motor up.
Oh, exactly. Motors and transmissions, and them
Yeah,
guys. I know those guys still go through a bunch of transmissions and stuff like that with Monster Jam, and I mean, I, there's a lot of money back in that. You know.
yeah, guaranteed. Now, have you ever done any shows with Monster Jam?
Yes, yeah, we did shows. Matter of fact, we did. I had my Quadzilla truck and did our local show here in Evansville, Indiana.
Uh huh.
Excuse me, and we did a. I went to do a donut, and right here at our new stadium, our Ford Center, they call it.
Uh huh.
It's actually smaller than the old stadium, but the floor space is supposed to be a little bit bigger. But we, I went to do a donut, and those guys with Monster Jam, they didn't know me quite as well, as some of the other guys because I didn't run with them full time or anything like that. And I went to do a donut, and it kind of high sided on me, and they hit the RII a little quick on me, so I wasn't able to save it, and I turtled that truck right there in the middle of our stadium
Oh
floor.
man. That's one thing that, as the guy on the floor running the RII, you had to really know the capabilities of that driver, and you said it just a minute ago. You didn't run with him very much, so they thought, well, this is not going to end up pretty, so we're going to go ahead and stop him. But really, there was no need to do that. I mean, I can remember Don King or Jess Berge. I'd stop them, and one time we were in Grand Forks, and Don King had barefoot, and he was doing that wheelie that he was known for, and somehow he caught one of the cars, and it flipped upside down, and he was sliding on the top of barefoot across the arena floor. And I shut the truck off, and he got out and he threw his helmet. That was Don. When Don threw his helmet, you knew he was mad. Okay, so he throws his helmet, and he comes back over after we get out, and he goes, "Why did you shut me off? I could have got it back." I said, "Don, you were completely upside down, four wheels standing up in the air. There wasn't a chance in heck that you could have saved that truck and brought it up on its wheels." And he thought a minute, and then he started laughing. He goes, "I guess you're right. I really probably couldn't have saved that one." It's like, I just got a Don King butt chewing for something that he couldn't have done anything with, except for slide across the floor. So,
Right, right.
yeah,
And like I said, with the Monster Jam thing we did here in Evansville, the guys, whoever's running the RI, they just didn't know me, and they didn't
right.
know. You got to kind of know the. After you work with people for a little while, you learn their driving habits. You know what they can do, what their skill level is, what they can do, and what they can't do. So I meant no disrespect to them guys when they
No.
did, but because it was a hockey arena, and they were worried about their
Oh,
dashboards and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Totally understand it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of them things that you were talking about. Don King, I remember a story with Don after the shows. He would a lot of times he'd take us out to eat,
Yep.
and depending on how the show went as far as attendance wise, if it was a really good attendance, he'd go out, he'd take us all the drivers and stuff out to eat after the show was over.
Yeah.
But if the attendance wasn't too good, then we ate the leftover hot dogs and hamburgers from the stands, from the concession stands.
He'd bring them in the big trays. I had
Yeah,
a
they
few of
bring
those
them on
big
big trays.
trays.
Here's
Yeah,
supper.
yeah,
You didn't know if
yeah,
you're getting a round.
yeah.
You didn't
Guaranteed.
know if you're getting a round steak or a tube steak.
Boy, that ain't no joke, Kathy. That is the truth. You said it so much. And if it was a good show, it was steaks, it was big tall beers, and lots of stories and lots of laughing and just a great time. But God forbid it wasn't a good show and things were tough. Because it was fairground food. And hey, I got to get to the trailer because I am kind of tore up a little bit, and I got to get this truck back ready to go for tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's yeah, there's just you sit here and we're talking and it's already been an hour, okay, and that goes by so fast. But the thing is, there'll be stuff tonight after we get off the air, and I'll be going, darn it, why didn't I remember to ask him that? I mean, it's just those stories that like I was telling Chad asked me earlier. He goes, Roller, how do you know me? And I said, well, Chad, I know I met you at a show, and I believe it was where Roger was. And I said, but to be honest with you, I can't remember because, you know, we meet so many people. I had a friend of mine that lived in Amarillo, and he was a musician, and his name was Andy Chase. And Andy said, when you get into this business, not the music business, but into the monster truck business, he says, you're going to get so many people that know you and remember you because you're just one person. But you're one person that has to remember 20,000 people, and you can't remember everybody, and it's tough. I mean, you get people that come up to you and talk to you like a long lost friend, and then you're looking for a lifeline, going, Kathy, help me, who is this?
It,
It's
it, it that,
tough.
that that happens quite often. We just, and like you said, there's so many people. We go to one show. There may be a few thousand people there. You never know. Whether it's 2 or 3 thousand, or if it's 5, 10,000. Whatever the show is. You know what I'm saying? And these people come up wanting autographs and stuff like that. And we're always happy to do that. Every
Sure.
driver that we work with are always happy to do that.
Yeah.
And it's all about the kids. You know what I'm saying? But then you come back and these people like, remember I talked to you last year or something like that. Well, you want to remember everybody, but you can't do it.
No.
It's impossible. You cannot do it.
No, it really isn't. And Chad said it was great listening to you guys tonight, but it's time for him to hit the sack. So he said it was just fun. Thank you. So
Gotcha.
you have a good night, Chad. You have a good night. So
Be safe, buddy.
uh, you know, I just I just I just can't thank you guys enough because I got a few more questions, but I keep going back just to telling you how much this means to me that I have you two on. It's just I miss you guys. I just miss being with you guys. I really do. There's very few out there that, I mean, I liked doing what I did, but there was very few that I just got an enjoyment with running with them and being at a show with them, because I knew that when we were done at the end of the night that it was going to be a good show, and we could always depend on you or whoever it was, to make the show a good one. And I thank you for as from an announcer standpoint, your interviews were spot on all the time. You guys were up there when we told you to go up to the autograph lines. You were there all the time. If we needed something, we could always count on Kathy. If we couldn't get a hold of you right away to answer a question for us or stuff, and you guys just made it such an easy job for a promoter, announcer, track crew to work with, man, and that just means so much to me. It really does.
Well, Roland, we appreciate you. And I mean, it's the feeling's mutual. Let me tell you that, because, like you said, we've met a lot of great people, and there's certain people in your lives, in our lives, that stick out, and you remember the great times. You're saying you remember a lot of them, but then there's a few special people that really mean the world to you,
Right.
and
Add
they
a lot.
add a lot to your life. You know what I'm saying, and everything. And we don't get to see each other very often, and we don't get to
No.
talk very often. But I greatly appreciate you and your friendship and everything.
Oh, that's not a given. I thank you very much too. But so I guess what I need to ask you too is a couple of last questions, and then I know it's probably late now. Where are you located right now? Where are you at now? Are you home?
Yes, we're at home. We live in Mount Vernon, Indiana, which is just outside of Evansville.
Uh huh. Now, when are you getting ready to go back on the road again?
We will actually be leaving Friday. We've got a show Saturday and a show Monday, and then I believe the following Saturday. So we're getting ready to get into our busy season here, starting June, July, and August. And I mean, it's we get pretty tight schedule there sometimes. We're traveling through the evening, do a show one place, and traveling through the evening to get to the next one. And it's a great time because we're hanging out with some great people. And like you said, this family thing that you and I were talking about with us and everything,
Right.
in the other drivers, we've made great friends and stuff. And these guys are super people. I mean, they're super people. But if a lot of, like I said, a lot of the stuff we're doing right now is through the full throttle monster trucks,
Yeah.
J.R. Rouse and them guys. And I mean, they put on a good show, and if anybody's around the area where they're at, I mean, they need to come check that show out because he's a good guy. It's a great organization, and they put on a good show. They really do.
Right.
And we always, it's family.
Right. Now, are you guys the show? So you travel together to each show? You're done. You load up the trucks and you guys head out together, or do you have other trucks that come in and meet you? In a different truck all the time.
Well, he's got a core group, but then there's some guys can't make it because they may have shows booked with a different promoter, and
Right.
Jr. will get other trucks and stuff to come in and fill spots.
Uh huh.
But for the most part, like the Kaisers and Dalton
Yeah.
and some of us guys, like and some of these other guys, we all run together. And like I said, we don't do every show together. That's like Chris Rogers, Bryant, Michaela, and them guys up in Terre Haute and stuff. They got a couple trucks up there, and they're in Central Indiana, and they do a lot of shows and stuff with us. So it just depends on how things are going and what shows people have booked for other what they got somebody booked for another promoter or something like that. But it's always great running with these guys.
Yeah. Guaranteed. And I started this. I guess I'm probably 7 months into this show now, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of help. But I ask each driver for their help, and I've ran with Dalton before. I don't remember if I ran with Richie or not, but I would just highly appreciate it, and I don't know if they're still on here or not, but I would love to get them on the show too and talk to them because you know everybody in my world here at Pedal to the Metal deserves a chance to. I want to give everybody on my audience a chance to learn the backstories about all these drivers. And we could sit here and talk stats, and I wouldn't be very good at it. It would be a rotten show. But I like to know what Roger did when he was a young kid that got him into this and stuff. And Dalton said he's here. So Dalton, please get my phone number from Roger, and would love, or just drop me a line at Jeff Richards 327 at G, and my cousin Debbie can put this up there for you, but it's Jeff Richards 327 at gmail.com. Or hit me up on Facebook, instant message me, give me your phone number. We'll set up a date and get you in there. And same with Richie, man. So I want to get in touch with you guys and let the people know you guys' stories too, man, because that's what it's all based on. And I'm never going to let another driver bash another driver. I mean, I will end an interview, and I don't care who it is. I will end an interview right here and there because that's not what this show is made for. This show is made for the person that I have on that night, and it's all about them. We talk about other drivers, but there ain't nobody going to bash anybody. So that's just the way it is. So get a hold
Yeah.
of me, guys, and I'll get you on the show for sure. But Rod, in the world of monster trucks, we travel, we go all over the world and all over the country and different things like that. Have you ever been out of country doing any shows?
No, not really. I had the opportunity to go do a few. I've been asked several times to go do stuff out of the country.
Uh huh.
Um, and I've heard some horror stories about people doing shows out of the
Yeah.
country and stuff like that. And there's so many shows and opportunities here in the States and I just soon kind of keep my feet grounded here.
I don't blame you because the way that the world is right now, and everybody has their own beliefs and whatever, that's fine. I don't care, But I don't want to travel to another country where, number one, they can hold your equipment hostage, where you can never get your equipment back, or they can hold you hostage and maybe never be seen again. I'm just out. I feel safe here in the United States, and it's still crazy here. You know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So I don't blame you. I had a chance to go with Danny and them to do some shows out of country, and I just told them I said I'm not interested, man. I'm not interested in any way, shape, or form by going to do anything in another country. I mean, they went to Russia, and when they come back, I said, okay, so how was it? And they said, well, we got there. And everybody's talking Russian, and the fans are sitting there spitting on you at the autograph lines and stuff like that. They're treating you terrible, and they set up meals and stuff. Well, they would invite all the building people first to eat, and then the monster truck drivers got what was ever left. I mean, there was just no respect for somebody that's coming clear to another country. And I take my hat off to Darren and Rebecca and all them when they're going clear across the ocean to do shows. I just they love it and they do good at it and I hope nothing bad ever happens to them because they're great friends of mine and it's just something I don't want to be a part of. Not at all.
Right. Them two right there. That's a couple special people right there.
Oh, they are.
I think the world of them guys. They do a great job in representing Bigfoot. They always have, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they're just down to earth people. And I mean, when we first got it kind of hooked up with Bigfoot over there, I mean, they were some of the first people to reach out to us and give us some praise and everything. We think you're doing a good job and everything like that. So they are absolutely some great, wonderful people.
Yeah, and they've come and they both have come a long ways. I mean, I can remember she was just a nurse and she didn't. I mean, she'd just come on the weekend and hang out. Now she's driving and doing all this other stuff. Kathy, would you ever want to drive, or have you ever driven?
I have ridden with him a couple times,
Uh huh.
like just to go tearing across the field and that kind of thing. And he always tells me I can drive, but the kicker is I have to fix whatever I tear up. So that's my limiting. I pick up parts, I cook meals, I do all kinds of cell novelties, but
Right.
I am not very mechanical. So that's my limiting factor.
You know.
He has never told me, no, you cannot drive, but he puts that clause on there that have to fix what I break.
At least,
You
at least I
know.
made her think about it.
Yeah, and I think that's just him saying that. I think he'd be right there helping you put her back together. To be honest with you, just because of the love he has for you. That's the
I
truth.
will.
Yeah, guaranteed. I know you would. I know you would. But you know what? Hey, you do your portion of it, and without you, your portion wouldn't get done. I mean, you're checking that merchandise, and that's a full time job. When you go to a show, you got to check your merchandise in, you got to check your merchandise out, you got to count the money, you got to pay the building. I mean, that's a big job. It's not an easy job at all. I wouldn't want no part of novelties, nothing whatsoever with novelties.
Yeah, because Bigfoot merch sells itself. I mean, that name and that product. So my job has definitely gotten busier in the merch
Oh,
department.
I believe that. I believe
And
that.
Roller, with that being said, she does takes care of the merch. But us talking just here earlier this evening before we come on the air with you, this girl here, I got to give her credit. She has hung with me. She has she runs and picks up parts for me. She's got to make a run to town while we were sitting just before we went on the air. I give her three stops and I need her to pick up parts for me. So it's unbelievable the stuff that she takes care of for me. And I still could not be doing this without her. I guarantee you.
Right. So Dalton is on here and he's saying, "Good Lord, with Kathy's lead foot, it would always be broken." LOL.
That's hilarious. Now, he told me, because, well, sometimes now I'm riding with Roger in the semi a lot, but
Right.
sometimes I would have my SUV and we would clean it out and everybody would pile in and we would go eat or if we needed to go run errands or whatever. And I was driving, I guess, too slow for Dalton because he looks at me and he goes, "Punch it, Margaret." And I don't know if he meant Margaret or Marge, like on The Simpsons.
Right.
I mean, Dalton is just he's so
Oh,
funny.
he
But
is. He is.
that particular day, apparently the Uber driver was not driving fast enough because I got a punch it, Margaret.
Well, now, Kathy, Richie has just said something that is my weakness. And if this is true, I need a care package. He says you make killer brownies.
Well, Roger and I both can make brownies. That's funny. I do try to cook some kind of dessert, either brownies or cookies or something. But then if you run out of time, then you have to get store bought. But if you get store bought,
You're taking a chance.
it's not going to be pretty. They will eat the store bought, but they will complain and say you are skimping on them because you bought store bought. These are very, very picky, crew and drivers and
Right.
everything.
Well, once you've had the taste of homemade and it's good homemade, there's nothing better. I mean, you couldn't take the brownies out of a box and put them on a plate and say I made them, and they'd fall for it, and they'd tell you, no, no, you didn't. You're lying to us now. But Dalton said he's still going to give you a 5-star Uber review. He said he'd still do that for sure.
Oh shoot! Well, and when I take the brownies, they're in the pan they were baked in,
Right.
and we throw in some chocolate chips or some caramel or something to
Oh
give
my
them a little
goodness.
extra.
My goodness. You're already getting me hungry. I got to go wake my wife up and tell her I need some brownies or something right here, you know? I got to keep this girlish figure. That's what I got to
That's
do.
right.
That's
Well,
funny.
you know, Roger, I tell you what, when it's all over with and you say, Kathy, I'm done, and this will be the last question of the night. What do you want to be remembered for in the monster truck business?
Wow, I've never had anybody ask me that question. Um, I guess a couple things would come to mind. Competitive is one thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, that I was a good competitor. I'd always try to be respectful to the fans and the fellow drivers
Uh-huh.
and crews and everybody. And I try to show my appreciation to people. A little thank you goes a long ways with people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I
Yep.
always try to say that to people. So I mean, just that I was I guess a fair and honest person with everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way, because
Willing
you,
to help too.
yeah, and I jump in to help these guys, jump in to help me, and when somebody else is broke, I jump in to help them. So, it's a team thing, and if I would say one thing, that it would be that we're all together we're all in this together. You know what I'm saying? It's just it takes a bunch of people to do what we do. I've got crew guys and stuff, excuse me, that I could list, talk about that have done stuff to help me, but we'd be here. This would be a 3-hour show.
Right.
If I started mentioning all these people, but that I'd be competitive and just enjoyed. I've always enjoyed what I do here. And Kathy's asked me, when are you when you want to hang it up? And I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, are you thinking about it? And I said, well, if I knew I was going to pass away one day at 5 o'clock, if I could do a monster truck show about noon, that would be fine with me.
Yeah, guaranteed.
And it's just, I'm sorry, that's just the way I am, and I'm not trying to be, rude about it or anything else to
No.
anybody or disrespectful, but I love what I do. I love the people I hang out with, and I love Kathy. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And the kids.
Guaranteed.
And the kids and the fans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They come up here and want the autograph, whether I'm driving, whether I was driving USA One or one of my own identities or Bigfoot. It didn't matter. The fans is what it's all about. The kids and the fans putting a smile on those kids' face, because these people work, through the day, all hours of the evenings and everything else, so they can afford to come to these truck shows, and that's our job, to put on the very best truck show you could possibly put on for these people. For they're working their hard and paying their hard-earned money to bring their family. Some of these places have gotten out of control on pricing and stuff like that. And
Right.
I know everything gets big business. I totally understand that. But these guys that that work their harder, work their butt off and spend their hard-earned money to come watch us, play with trucks. It's pretty amazing, I think.
Well, it is guaranteed. We were at a restaurant one time in it was back in Oregon. I think it was Medford. And of course, I'm not going to say anybody's name or anything like that, but we were sitting there after the show, like we always used to do, and go out for dinner. And it wasn't a great show. There was a lot of breakage and stuff like that. And the gentleman that broke that said the comment was, had broke that night, was in a bad mood and stuff like that. But there was a family there, and you can tell you've been in that restaurant before after a show. You can tell the people that's been to the monster truck show because the minute you walk in, their eyes are fixated on you, and they're like, "There they are! Look at that's the monster truck people." And this we sat down and we were getting ready to order our food, and we ordered the food, and the food was just coming to the table, and here come the little kids over to the table, and they were sitting there, and they go, "Can we have your autograph?" And this driver said, "My God, I just gave you my autograph not 45 minutes ago." And I went, "Hey, stop, stop. This young person right here, you made his whole night. And he is excited to be able to come and have a final word with you. And without him, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing." I said, "His mom and dad and everything." I said, "You got to stop. You can't be like that. Because without these folks, like you said, there ain't none of this Roger and Kathy 35 years in the monster truck business, or Roller in being in a motorsports announcer for 25 plus years. It's not happening because there ain't nobody coming to the shows."
Right, right. And Roland, just like that song that you played for me, I was that little kid, young
Right,
man, whatever, 17, 18 years old,
right.
standing on the other side of that fence thinking, wow, that man is awesome. When I seen Bob Chandler run over that truck, you know what I'm saying? And I know how that felt for me, and I know how it feels to these kids, and that's what it's all about, and inspiring these young kids. If they have a dream, this was a dream of mine. If they have a dream, it just goes to show you, if you work hard and keep doing what's right, treat people right, dreams come true, and it has.
It's the
It really
truth.
has.
It is the
And
truth.
one thing I wanted to mention that, if you don't mind, I know you're wanting
No,
to get off a little bit.
no, I'm
Uh,
not. I mean, we'll talk as long as you want to talk. I want to be respectful of your time and not keep you up late. And so, I mean, this is your portion of the show, and we'd talk to 2 o'clock in the morning if you wanted to. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just want to be respectful of you and Kathy's time. That's all I want to do.
no, no problem, buddy. We are both enjoying this. It's great to talk to you and share our story, and it really means a lot. But what I was going to lead up to saying, we've got a couple shows here. These next three shows, we're going to be running during our county mountie
Uh huh.
body, and then we're going to start driving and running the Bigfoot thing and doing the Bigfoot thing again.
Uh
And
huh.
there's something really big, and I think right now, if everything goes good, it's going to be revealed on June the 11th in New Berlin, Illinois,
Uh huh.
at Sinagwin. I can't pronounce the fairgrounds we're going to be at, but it's in New Berlin, Illinois,
Uh huh.
is where it's at, and it's something really. It's going to be pretty big coming out, and I can't say a whole lot about it.
Sangamon
Sagamon or something like that.
County Fair.
County
Uh
Fairgrounds
huh.
in uh, New Berlin, Illinois, and that's on June the 11th. That's on a Thursday night at their fair, I believe it is.
Bigfoot's
But
Open
there's,
House.
yeah, and then we got Bigfoot's open house thing possibly coming up too. But I'm not sure if we're doing that yet or not. But
June 13th.
there's,
Yeah, that's
uh,
coming up in June, right?
yeah,
June the 13th. Yeah, open house. I
correct.
got it on my calendar.
Gotcha. So, but that show in New Berlin, that's going to be a really, it's going to be something to see, and there's going to be, we'll probably be maybe an unveiling of something new coming out. So I
Wow.
can't say a whole lot about it, but Full Throttle Monster Trucks, they follow Full Throttle Monster Trucks and Bigfoot. There'll be a lot of stuff coming out about then.
Oh man, I look forward to looking into that and stuff. And yeah, when you reveal it and you can talk about it, please let me know. We'll get you back on the show and we'll talk about
Okay,
the new revealing. I promise you that for sure,
gotcha.
guaranteed, guaranteed.
That's cool.
But I tell you what, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show, and for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I wish you the best this year. What is it like to have to do? I mean, I do when I work with Paul Schaefer. We used to do those little one night fairs, and you're in one town one night, and the next night you're in another town, and stuff like that. But not as many as you guys are doing. Do you ever just get burnt out?
Um, we've kind of gotten used to it. What, a year, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I think it was. We did 12 shows
14
in
days.
in 14 days in
Wow.
12 different cities.
That's crazy.
So we got
It was.
shows like the 30th, July 30th, the 31st, the 1st and 2nd, and all of them are in different cities, 4 or 5, 3 or 4 hours away from each other.
Uh-huh.
So we've got, a lot of shows coming up like that. But I don't want to say we get burnt out. We do get tired a little bit. We're both getting a little bit older and everything, but we try to have, the heat sometimes get to us, but we always try to have an extra person wherever we can get them to help give us a hand.
Right.
Like I was talking about Dalton and Richie, them guys are great. We all jump in to help each other.
Yeah.
Before the show, during the show, after the show, and there's other people coming. We was talking about the Killocks up there in New York and everything. They, they're coming down to help us for a few shows, and there's other people that get involved and help us, at shows and stuff when we need help, because it's not so bad tiring up and stuff like that. We could do fine doing that, but if we have a breakage, that's when the problem comes in, because I've got to have help, to get the thing put back together as quickly as we can.
Sure.
Because, once again, back to what I was saying a while ago, it's about the fans and putting on that show for the fans. So,
Yeah.
And these guys, everybody I talked about a while ago, these guys are all great people, and we all help each other. But I always said, somebody says, well, how do you guys get along? And I said, well, back in the pits and before and after the show, we're great. I said, but them drivers change whenever they put a helmet on.
The race driver comes out in them.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
competition's happening now.
Exactly.
So,
Said, I love you when we're down on the ground, but right now it's game on, buddy. It's game
Yes.
on. Tooth and nail.
Exactly.
Tooth and nail. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Exactly the way it is.
Guaranteed.
We all kind of look out for each other
Yep.
too. I mean, when it is really hot and humid, I mean, we kind of, you doing okay, sit down, cool off, drink some water, so we do try to, watch out for each other and make sure everybody's doing okay, or, find some air conditioning to get them in to cool off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we have to, because number one, it's family. It's our monster
Yes.
truck. It's our monster truck family. We do the same thing for our kids, our wives and stuff. Why wouldn't we do it for the same for the people that we spend so much time with on the weekends? I mean, because that's your family. It really is. I mean, it's just you got it. You take care of each other. I mean, I did it before with Danny and Debbie and them when I was working for them. They'd want to maybe go get away or something, and the kids were little. I'd say, go. I'm watching the kids. Go, man. Get out of here. Go do something, Or during the show, you see the kids running around. I'm like, hey, you guys can't be back here right now, man. This is not, I don't care if your daddy owns the company or not. You're not supposed to be back here when these trucks are running, and you know that. I mean, it's just a family. Everybody has watched everybody's kids or doing something for somebody that makes them family. That's just what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
You were talk about that family thing. Mark is the guy that helps Dalton quite a bit.
uh-huh.
And we did a show down in Owensboro, Kentucky. And a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine, Byron, he's a Snap-on dealer.
Uh-huh.
And a Snap-on tool dealer. So he called me ahead of time. He knew he was going to be in Owensboro, and he's right down that area. So he said, hey, I'm going to bring the truck over. If you guys need anything, I'll have the Snap-on truck there. And if you guys need something, I'll be right there to help anybody out that's need. I said, we appreciate that, one thing and another. Well, he was there for just a little bit, and he had to leave. A couple of the guys bought some stuff from him, what have you. And Byron had to leave, and then he was coming back. So Mark, the guy that works with Dalton, he was there, and he said, I seen Byron pull back in the big white Snap-on truck, and I said, hey, Mark, you want to come over to Snap-on truck with me? No, I don't need anything out of the truck. I said, well, he's got ice cream over there. Oh, he's got ice cream? And I said, yeah, he left to go get some ice cream. And he said, oh, really? And I said, you want some ice cream? I said, I'm headed over. He goes, okay, yeah, I'll go with you. So we go over. I slide the door open, and he walks in the truck, and I walk in the truck behind him. And, Byron, he's got the air conditioning, everything going on there. And he's got tools. You know how on Snap-on trucks, there's tools everywhere.
Yeah.
Some of the guys are still in there buying it. And Byron looked up at Mark and said, you here to buy some tools? And he said, no, I'm here for the ice cream. And Byron said, well, we don't have any ice cream. And Mark turned around, looked at me, and I looked at Byron. I said, Byron, all I can do is get him in the door. You got to sell him the tools.
It took ice cream to get him there, but now it's your job to close him. I brought him to you, but you got to close him now.
As soon as I said it, I walked out the door, slid his door closed.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. He fell hook, line, and sinker for that one, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll probably pay for it the next time I see him.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's some funny stuff. Now I'm telling you. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, man. You guys just please be safe out there. If you get coming through Colorado and you got problems, you always got my number. If you need a place to stay, uh, do a load of laundry, and that goes for any of you guys out there that are driving. Uh, I don't have everybody's number, but somebody's got my number. They can get a hold of me and stuff like that. I just want you guys to know that mi casa is su casa, and that's the truth, man.
Right. We sure appreciate you. Like I said, and I'm not just saying this because we're on it. We appreciate your friendship over the years and everything. You're one great person, and you represent the whole industry
Thank
in
you.
an amazing way. And thank you for all you do for all of us.
Not a problem. That's my job. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Flying sucks. I don't want to fly. I was that guy that flew in Thursday night and flew out Sunday. And I'd rather be on the road than to fly anymore. I really would. Flying is the worst thing in the world anymore. There's no fun about it. People are rude, and that's what killed me. And then plus I had to spend some time with my father before he passed away. So I told Danny and them, I said I gotta spend this last year with my dad, and I'm glad I did because he didn't make it a year. So it was nice to be able to do that. And there for a while, I was still keeping my toe dipped in the water a little bit. They had a show here in Colorado Springs that I did, but I found out this year that they're not going to do it. So now I'm kind of. I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to have my methanol fix. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it throughout the whole year. So I've kind of switched my focus on. I got my first car show this weekend in Pueblo, where I grew up as a kid, and so I've kind of turned my interest into the hot rods and the car shows and different things like that. So. But if anybody ever needs anybody, just tell them I know a guy that'll probably come and do the show if you give him enough warning. Because I still have Mike will travel.
There you go. There you go, buddy. It'd be great to work with you again.
Oh,
And
it
I
would,
mean,
wouldn't
it'd
it?
be awesome.
Yeah, it really would. So, Dalton, Richie, please get a hold of me. We're still have some stuff in June. I know you guys are going to be busy, but I'd love to talk to you guys and get you guys on the show. And Roger, you tell anybody else too. If you guys had a good experience about it and you think somebody would like to be on the show, just tell them, hey, here's Roller's number. Give him a call. Tell him I said so, and we'll make sure we get him on the show for sure.
I appreciate that, Roller. Thank you, sir. We appreciate everything you do.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys. I love you very much. You guys be safe, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, take care, my brother. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right. All right, see you later.
Okay, bye.
All right, guys. That's family. What my phone won't shut off here. That's family right there, guys. I mean, it's so good to talk to those people because it just brings back so many memories of the good times that we had together at the shows and different things like that. And plus, I get to see people like Dalton. I haven't seen Dalton. God, Dalton, I don't know how long it's been since me and you ran together. But, I know it was a long time ago. And Richie, if I've ran with you, I don't remember, but of course I'm old, dude. I'm old. I have to put my name on my belt to remember my name. So, let me know if we did run together, then, and I do apologize. But if not, I want to get you on the show and find out some interesting stuff about you too. So, guys, we'll be right back here after these words from our sponsors, and we'll play a little bit more music. And Cousin Debbie, it's good to see you back because I was really worried that was something going on with you or something like that. So we'll be right back here on Pedal to Metal, Motors and Music.
Hey, Colorado. Get ready! The second annual Tri-Lakes Cruisers Truck Show is rolling into Monument, Colorado on June 14th, 2026. Bring your ride out to the legendary Big Red at 146 North Jefferson Street in Monument and be part of one of the coolest truck shows in the state. We're talking classic trucks, custom builds, lifted rigs, and clean street cruisers, all lined up with the Rocky Mountains as your backdrop. Move-in starts at 8 a.m. and the show runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Registration is just $35, and every dollar helps support the Tri-Lakes Cruisers Automotive Scholarship Fund. Presented by Hefty Fabworks. This is more than a show. It's a community, a passion, and a day you don't want to miss. So shine it up, fire it up, and roll in. For full details, scan the QR code or visit www.trilakescruisers.com. That's June 14th in Monument, Colorado. The Tri-Lakes Cruisers Truck Show, where horsepower meets the mountains.
Hey, lug nuts, need a pick-me-up to start your day. There's a place in Parker that'll get you going. Rise and Grind Coffee has bold espresso, strong coffee, smooth lattes, plus chai teas and cold. Smoothies, regular or decaf, whatever you're in the mood for. Hungry, grab a hot breakfast burrito or a fresh muffin, quick, simple, and ready to roll. Got something coming up, any event or party you're planning, they've got a portable coffee cart that brings the coffee right to you. Fresh drinks served on site. Local spot, good coffee, good people. Rise and Grind Coffee, fueling your day, one cup at a time.
When your equipment goes down, your whole day comes to a stop. That's where Garner Repair comes in. Owned and operated by Austin Garner, Garner Repair brings professional, reliable mobile equipment repair right to you. No hauling, no waiting, no wasted time. From engine repair to hydraulic systems to electrical diagnostics and full preventative maintenance, Garner Repair keeps your equipment running strong. Whether you're on a job site, a ranch, or out in the field, Austin shows up ready to get the job done right the first time. Fast response, honest work, dependable service you can trust.
Call 303-588.
7940.
That's 303-588.
7940. Or email garnerrepair@gmail.com. Garner Repair, keeping your equipment moving so you can keep moving forward. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, guys, we're back right here. We're back. We're going to finish up the song with a few show with a the beat. That's it, folks. But we're going to finish up the night with a few more songs, and we'll get you guys in and out of here. And then remember, Sunday will not be a show because we'll be down in Pueblo. Now, we will be doing some live remotes from Pueblo at the car show, so that'll happen, and I'll do it on Facebook Live. So if you guys are want to tune in and watch and stuff like that, you'll see some cool cars out of Pueblo and stuff. But I don't think I'll feel like, because I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning and leave by 5, so that I can be down to Pueblo by 7:15, because check-in is at 7:45, and then the show starts at 9 o'clock, runs till 1. So I think I'll probably be a little spent by the time I get home. But you know what? If I got some energy and you see that Roller's on, man, tune in. I don't know what we'll talk about. We might just play music, and you might have to have a phone or somebody call me and wake me up in between songs. But anyway, this next song right here is a song I wrote. It's called Model Kit Dreams. It's about a young man. And most of these songs that I write is about different things that are here in my collection. I have everything from guitars to models to Hot Wheels to Tonka toys, an old Daniel Boone hat when I was a little kid. I got a little bit of everything, and I was looking at my models one day, and I thought, I built a lot of models when I was a kid, and I would always customize them and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I was really one of the kids that I just kept to myself. I had my friends and stuff, but I kept to myself. I was more happy working in my room on my models or out in the shop on my bicycles or whatever. And I find I'm like that a little bit with working out on my hot rods and stuff out in the shop and different things like that. So this is called Model Kit Dreams. So we'll be right back here after this one on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
When I was young, I stayed to myself. Didn't have many friends like everybody else. Friday nights meant that old hobby store, staring at them shiny boxes lined wall to wall. Take them home and build them all weekend long. Paint flames where the decals said they belonged. Chrome on the engine, custom stance so mean. Every little model was a young boy's dream. While the other kids were chasing bigger things, I was building hot rods with tiny machine springs. Those model kit dreams on my bedroom shelf were more than little toys for me and nobody else. They were my way out, my way to believe that one day I'd build the real thing. I didn't care much about college schemes. Only thing I knew was those model kit dreams. I went to work down at an old body shop. Learned real quick how to shape and chop, how to work the metal and make engines sing. Lay down paint smooth as a wedding ring. Funny how it all came naturally, like those little plastic cars prepared me. Every line I drew and every custom scene started with the model kit dreams. Those model kit dreams on my bedroom shelf turned into a life I built myself. Now people bring me cars from miles around, trusting these two hands to lay perfection down. From a lonely kid nobody had ever seen, to a man known for his model kit dreams. And now there's cars I built on TV screens, museum lights shining down on machines. People stop and stare at the work I've done, but they don't know where it all begun. started with a kid in a quiet room, glue on his hands and a heart full of fumes. Those dreams in a box made a life for me, built from passion, paint, and creativity. And every time I hear them, oh, shop to scream, I still see that boy with his model kid dreams. Yeah, that lonely kid finally found his wings inside those model kid dreams.
Model Kid Dreams right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. The next song up is, I am a big toy collector. I collect a lot of toys. I have my favorite ones out where people can see them, but I have on the other side of the shirt right here, I have tubs full of toys that I just don't have room for out here. I wish I did, but I don't. I have to share this room with the wife, and we have cases of water, we have Christmas items, we have survival food, we have all kinds of different things in here. But there's shelves full of toys. I have an addiction, and it is definitely old toys. I love going to auctions and buying toys. I just see something that I like, and I just have to have it. It's just like here a while back, I went to, I say a while back, it's been a couple of years, but I went to an auction, and I was going through, it was an auction, a family auction, and the parents had passed, and some of the kids were selling off farm stuff and selling off some of their items and stuff, and there was this little toy train. It was a wooden train, and it was in a box, and when I opened up the box, I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, this train's really in good shape, but you can tell whoever owned it played with it, but they kept it in really good shape. And when I was picking up one of the cars, I looked, and there was a note in this car, and it fell on the floor. And I picked up the note, and this note was from one of these brothers that had passed when he was a young kid. And so I'm just going to let the song tell you what it was. But anyway, this is called The Train right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
I've been collecting old memories since I was just a boy, spending every spare dollar on some forgotten toy. From the 1800s tin soldiers to the toys of yesterday, Hot wheel cars and old Tonka trucks, old dogs packed away. But one day at a little sale in a dusty country town, I found a wooden train set in a weathered cardboard brown. But when I opened up the box, a note fell on the floor. There was something written on that page that made me love it even more. It was a note from a little boy named Jimmy, written in a shaky hand. Said this train set was his favorite toy, given to him by his dad, in a world he couldn't understand. He said, I've got something I don't understand called cancer. and it's taken life away from me. But this train makes me happy every single day. He wrote, I'll play with it till the day I go, then I'll tuck this note inside, so whoever finds my train one day will know how much I tried to stay. And if you're the one who finds it, I hope this train brings joy to you, the way it always did for me when my skies weren't always blue. I hope you get to live a long life, playing with it day by day, and think about a little boy who loved these rails this way. It was a note from a little boy named Jimmy, written in a trembling hand. Said this train set was his favorite toy, given to him by his dad, in a world he couldn't understand. He said, I've got something I don't understand called cancer, and it's taken life away from me. But this train makes me happy every single day. I sat there in that quiet room with tears running down my face, thinking about that little boy and the fight he had to face. I knew right then and there was one thing I couldn't do. I could never sell that train set after what that boy went through. So now it sits inside my home, on a shelf where I can see, not just a toy train anymore, but a piece of bravery. That note from a little boy named Jimmy still rests inside that train. Reminds me every single day, love outlives the pain. And that little wooden railroad runs forever in my mind, a tribute to a brave young soul who left his train set and a note behind. But that little boy named Jimmy still rides those rails today.
And as you guys know, you seen, I showed you this train a couple weeks ago. I just need to I need to take a picture of the note and post it on Facebook for you guys so you can see. But that little train, probably one of my favorite pieces that I own, just because of the fact is the story of it and the condition of it, and I can just picture that little boy playing with that train. It was amazing. And Roger, thank you. I enjoyed you guys being on the show, and I'm glad you had fun, because that's what it's all about. If we can't have fun in our lives, because we're only here for a short while, why do it? Why not? If I can create a show that everybody enjoys, then that's what I want to do. I want to have everybody on. I want to have my old friends on. So this next one here, ladies and gentlemen, is called Cap Gun Memories. And this is about little boys that played with cap guns and bow and arrows and stuff when they were kids. And nowadays we're told that if we play with a cap gun or bow and arrow, that it's either dissing a certain tribe or something like that, or it causes you to want to be a killer. I played with guns, little guns, all my life, cap guns and stuff, and I don't want to kill nobody, unless they're trying to hurt me or something like that, or hurt my family. But this here is called Cap Gun Memories. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
I remember when we were young, playing cowboys and Indians, man, it was fun. Backyard dust and a plastic gun, chasing dreams in the setting sun. Army battles with our friends, didn't know where the day would end. No one thought nothing wrong back then, just kids being kids again. We built our forts out of sticks and dirt, bandanas tied, old hand-me-down shirts. Every scratch just made it worse, like we were living out a movie verse. No screens, no wires, no place to be, just imagination running free. We didn't need no batteries, just a spark and a memory. I thank God I got them cap gun memories, echoes ringing through them old oak trees. Bang, bang, dreams and a fearless heart, playing heroes in our own backyard. No hate, no harm, just make believe. Yeah, that's the way it used to be, and I wouldn't trade nothing for what made me those cap gun memories. Now they say those days were wrong, try to tell us what we grew up on. Say those toys made us too strong, like we didn't know right from wrong. Talking about bands and drawing lines, judge the past through different times, but they never lived those simple rhymes of dirt road days and childhood minds. They didn't run through fields at dusk, didn't feel that freedom rush, didn't turn stick to something tough or make believe feel real enough. Didn't grow up the way we did, where a dream was all it took to live, before the world got complicated and every little thing got debated. Yeah, we grew up and we turned out fine, learned respect and wrong from right. Those little games didn't change our way, they just helped us find our place in a world that moves too fast today. I still hear them echoes when I pray. I thank God I got them cap gun memories, echoes ringing through them old oak trees. Bang, bang, dreams and a fearless heart, playing heroes in our own backyard. No hate, no harm, just make believe. Yeah, that's the way it used to be, and I wouldn't trade nothing for what made me those cap gun memories.
Cap Top Gun Memories right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. The last song of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is called Mint in a Box. Now, how this song came about is, like I said, I collect a lot of toys, and I believe that toys were made to play with. I played with them as a kid. I have a lot of my toys that I still kept. Now, they have many a mile on them, you know, and they were played in the dirt and the grime and the mud and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, I still have them, and they still show that they were played with and that they were loved. I mean, I loved playing with all my toys. I'd spend hours playing with them and stuff. And this song called Mint in a Box. Now, I have a lot of these toys that I've bought from auctions and different things that are still mint in the box. And as a collector, you want to collect stuff like these that have never been opened. I mean, I have figures all around the wall here of Hot Wheel cars that are still in the blister packs. They'll never be taken out. We have tubs full of Hot Wheels that are still in the blister packs that when my middle son was young, me and him collected Hot Wheels. And then we used to go to Walmart at 1 o'clock in the morning when Walmart was open all the time. And we used to go and look through the Hot Wheels. You know, they'd be stocking toys, and you go over to the toy section and you'd see all these boxes that were unopened. And we'd cut them open and get all the ones that we thought we liked and that were the collector ones and different things. I still have the blister pack. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff that's mint in the box. But to me, a toy needs to be played with. I mean, it's just, it makes for a happy toy. But here's a song called Mint in the Box. Now, we're going to end with this one. I'll go into the outro of it. I appreciate Roger and Kathy Gallagher being on the show tonight. It was such a good time. They are such good people. Richie, Dalton, I look forward to having you on the show. Cousin Debbie, I'm glad you're back in here, that nothing was wrong. I understand about putting flowers on the graves. It's very important. Carter, as usual, thank you for being in here. And everybody else that's on here tonight, Bob Post, all you guys, thank you so much for being here weekly with me and just putting up with all the stuff that I have to do. Because I want to bring these stories of my life, of these people that are in my life, and I want to introduce them to you and let you understand what it was like to be me in my lifetime. So here's this song called Mint in the Box. You guys have a great night. Look for some live video feed from the car show on Sunday, and then we'll talk to you again next Wednesday. This is Roller. Peace out. I love each and every one of you with all my heart. We'll talk to you soon.
Sitting on a shelf in a cardboard frame, clear plastic window, price tag name. Never saw a backyard, never felt the sun, never heard a kid say, this one's mine, this one. Paint's still perfect, not a scratch or scar. Never rolled across a floor or a dirt driveway yard. They say I'm worth a fortune, yes, someday I'll be, but that ain't what I was made to be. I don't wanna be mint in the box, never touched, never lost, never loved till my colors fade or wheels wore down from the games we played. I'd trade all this value they say I got just to be a kid's best friend, even if I'm not worth a dime when the years have passed. I don't wanna be mint in the box. I've seen others come and go off the shelf, picked out by a child taken home with help. Heard the laughter echo through the store as they ran outside and hit the door. I stayed behind, just a collector's dream, perfect little piece of a memory unseen. But what's a memory if it never lives? What's a heart if it never gives? I don't wanna be meant in the box, never touched, never lost, never raced down a hallway floor, crashed into walls in a backyard war. I trade all this value they say I got for 1,000 nights in a toy box spot, worth nothing but a memory that lasts. I don't wanna be meant in the box. Maybe somewhere there's a grown-up man staring at me through that plastic span, remembering the toy he never chose, or the one he lost so long ago. And I wonder if he'd understand. I'd give it all just to be in his hands. I don't wanna be meant in the box, never open, never lost, never held when the lights go out. A part of dreams a kid dreams about. They can keep their money, they can keep that cost. I'd rather be warm than never lost, worth more in love than a price tag spot. I don't wanna be meant in the box. I'd rather be broken than never be loved.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Pedal to the Metal. I want to send out a huge thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and supporting the show. I also want to thank all of our amazing sponsors. You're the ones that help keep the wheels turning, and we truly appreciate you. Be sure to join us every Wednesday and Sunday. We kick things off with music at 6 p.m. each night, and the full show starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until next time, keep the pedal down, heads high, and we'll see you at the next show.